Greetings, traveler. You've just landed on the Mikey and Me podcast. But fear not, for this is no mistake. No fault in the stars, no glitch in the matrix. I'm afraid this has all been planned, predetermined by powers known not to us. So pull up a chair and join us as we find our way together for you or among friends. 57 degrees and mostly cloudy in Gorzalowski, Poland.
For our Poles out there.
Shout out Poland, all our Polish people in Gorzalowski.
My grandmother was Polish. Kowalski was her last. I'm not even joking. That was my mother's mother.
Wow.
She married a Hispanic man. I'm sorry. The temperature must go on.
No, it's 57 and mostly cloudy. So
I didn't know that was her maiden name.
Kowalski, or it's spelled like Kowalski, but the V is like a W.
Killer Kowalski.
that's like
Kowalski. Mary Kowalski.
Wasn't that what's his name from Gran Torino as well? Mr. Kowalski, wasn't that who he was?
Probably.
I think so, because I know that. When there's a movie and there's a last name that's like, oh, that's my friend's or some family last name, to where I don't ever keep up with all of them, but I think that might be one.
That might be.
Have to ask Mary.
It's crazy watching. It's funny. I had to brush up on I ended up brushing up on some Polish slang, I guess, or not.
What path led to this?
Well, in movies, whenever they
gotcha.
tell jokes about Polish people, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And then
Poles, the
look it up, I'm
Polacks,
like,
and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I see. And then just all that, like in the what's it called, Kill the Irishman,
Right.
He was making Polish jokes, and he was like, "What do you do if a Polishman throws you a hand grenade?" And he said,
"Oh, you don't have to worry about it or something."
He said,
right?
"You pull the pin out and you throw it back at him."
Exactly. Everything comes about them being dumb somehow. So
exactly.
I'm curious about be good to do a deep dive. And it's like, what was the stereotype that caused them to be ridiculed like they were just a dumb people?
Exactly.
I know part of it was from like World War II with because I could be wrong, but I want to say they were the one. You remember in Saving Private Ryan when the tank is running up on them and they're like, how do we get rid of this tank? And one of them's like a sticky bomb.
Okay.
They put C4 in a sock and then covered it in tar and ran up and just slapped it on the tracks.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, that was a lot of like the tactics that the Polish would use when the Germans invaded them, because it was like mainly like civilians and stuff. And so rather than just like laying down and, being conquered, it was like,
classic IEDs, right?
Even if it was, it was like, how stupid is that? You're just going to run up to a tank? And it's like, and so that's part of like where it came from. It was like them just being like crazy, like, fuck it, I'm going to run up and slap this,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like throwing caution to the wind almost
Ballsy
type thing. Yeah.
About to say, I call that courage in my book.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. But like, I know that's part
Especially
of where
knowing that
like other
blood.
people would look at it and
Sounds
be like,
like
"Oh, that's stupid. Why wouldn't you do this, or why wouldn't you do that?" It's like, we didn't think of it. We just thought,
we were
let's do
civilians.
this.
There was a tank literally down the street. We had to act quick, okay?
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, no, that's
Sorry, I was eating
a Polish jokes.
God, it's crazy how long it really takes you to chew a French fry.
You must have got one of the chewy ones on.
I don't know. I feel like I was trying to actually eat it. And
No, I did throw a
like,
couple rubber fries in that batch.
There are? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what that was. Well, I just ate
it's like
plastic.
Chinese
ate
plastic rice.
I just got some macro plastics. Everybody's worried about micro, and I'm like, give me the macro. I'll
like
be on the
that.
macro part of the scale.
I like that. I think Trump would endorse such a fry.
Well, before we get into other shit that we normally get into, typically before we step in the same pile that we step in,
Yes.
let's take a quick stop into Speculation Station real quick, as I'd like to call it.
Okay, so first of all, I'd
Assume
like
the
to know
position.
what's the door that I'm walking through here into the station. I feel like there might be more to this door. What's on the sign?
It's a
sign
tunnel.
on the door.
It's a tunnel, and the tunnel does end. There is an end to the tunnel.
Okay.
But
We
it is
just
you can't
don't
tell
know where that's at.
exactly. Sometimes it's longer. Sometimes it takes a turn, and it's like, man, this tunnel stretched on.
Sometimes I'm
But-
sorry, that's never happened to me before.
But when you get in this tunnel, you're going to have to assume the position upon the wall of assumption as we pull into a speculation station.
Okay, so
Because this is these are all highly speculatory subjects that we may cover in these segments.
No fact checking. Good chance. No. Whatever knowledge we came.
No, we're just talking.
Here to go
we're
on
just
about.
yeah, exactly. And if we're wrong,
make it
that's
up.
great. Who cares? Correct me. Say stuff, right? Comment below. Be like, this guy's
Yeah,
stupid.
please comment
And
below.
Comment below
Yeah.
and say this guy needs to stop eating French fries and spit it out.
He stop looking at his phone. Somebody did say that once, didn't they?
He did.
So
he did.
this is
He called me. I was looking at the movies I'm talking about, and he didn't watch the podcast, but he saw the clip, and he was like, "Lazy fuck can't stay off his phone." It's like I'm trying to keep my notes on my phone.
and I'm like, this guy can read my mind. Let's get him on.
Yeah, he's like Spider-Man. Yeah, where's he at?
Telekinesis.
Oh, speaking of just Dodd, so Dodd, does you don't know when Dodd's
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
call her up right now. But so we're in the station.
Okay, speculation station. What first? Will the Mavs? Do we think the Mavs will be building a new stadium? I heard talk about this.
I did too.
Can I ask where? Sports radio, I'm guessing.
13
Okay.
on the ticket on
Oh.
1310.
I love the ticket.
They were chatting about stadiums and will they build a new one? And
Yeah, there was some article in one of the local. It was like, I don't know if it was in the paper or if it was like the Observer, or,
Right.
you know, some whatever had like put out an article or something about them building a new stadium. I'd seen like a couple of potential locations and stuff too.
Okay,
Did
so
you
this,
see that?
for what we know, it sounds. I've heard this conversation loosely before. I feel like within the last, because the
they
existing
talked
stadium
about
is
doing-
over 20 years old now. Correct? It's crazy to think.
The
Oh,
AAC, yeah.
I think I just know it's one of those things. It still seems pretty. It always seems new to
nice.
me. And it's nice, and the location is the closest to a downtown
It's perfect.
that we have for a sports team.
yeah,
And anywhere else you go, I feel like it's going to take it outside of downtown, like all our other franchises.
And see,
that seems stupid.
so yeah, if y'all have anything else, I'll go from here because that's what do you say?
Well, no. Were you gonna? Did you hear about any of the locations they're talking about putting it?
I don't know if they were locations they were
Mesquite.
talking about specifically, but like where at?
Fucking Valley View.
Okay, I
Over
heard
the
that.
mall
I heard
used to
them
be,
say
the
something
old
about
mall.
that.
Okay.
Right there off
I
635. That would be
really
awful
hope not.
traffic.
Yeah.
That would be such
Dude,
awful traffic.
635 right there is
That
already
part?
like
Awful traffic.
635
It's like the
in
death
Preston.
section of
That
just.
would be so bad.
635.
You're literally
between the
putting it in
tollway and
between-
75.
Yeah, where that's like that would be such a crappy. That's a part of
I can
Dallas.
tell you right now with 100% confidence, not
That's
gonna
where it'll
happen.
end up.
Yeah, that
That's
right there.
exactly where it's going to end up. I bet.
Right, because you say it's not going to happen
Yeah.
exactly.
Only-
because it seems like the least likely
Yeah.
place they should put it. No, but you're right. I was just going to say that on the ticket when they were talking about it, they kept it's kind of funny because as soon as they start going through this topic and they were talking about how like what you said, it's like the stadium we have is in downtown. It's the closest you could have a stadium like toward in our downtown area. And it's like if it moves out, it's probably going to go somewhere else further away. And they were kind of commenting on that and saying how it's like nice when they go to these other cities, how all these stadiums are right around each other and this and that. But here's the thing is that like I'm sitting here the whole time like, let's address the elephant in the room. Downtown Dallas, who the fuck wants to walk around downtown?
Yeah.
Not only that,
It's not really walking touristy downtown.
No.
Yeah.
and
it's more of a homelessy.
yeah,
downtown.
and two, it's like it's not as of right now. The downtown area is not in good shape. It's really looking kind of bad.
A lot of
Not
people
a-
say.
Is it?
yes.
I feel like that. You
It's-
drive through there, because I used to
I
obviously
barely-
went to high school down there, but I don't frequent
Deep
going
Ellum
through there
is
enough
getting,
to know.
Deep Ellum, from people that I talk to who've been in the area, like for instance, I get my hair cut down there, and the guy that cuts
Yeah.
my hair said that he used to go out down there, and he's like, I don't.
Well,
fuck
Deep
around out
Ellum
here
is
at
its
night.
own thing, though. That
for
didn't
sure,
speak
but
to
like-
the rest of downtown.
But I'm still saying I go through downtown
Gotcha.
to get there and everything, and so point being is yes, I'm in the downtown area.
Okay.
And it's
All right, I'll
having
take your
seen
word
it
for
gone through different stages. I've unfortunately had to go to jury duty this year. Knock on wood, it doesn't happen again. So I've been there for jury duty.
Yeah, I went there.
I've perused around and stuff like that. But yeah, either way, it's like, so point being is that there's also there's no real draw or attention to downtown that's gonna, because you're gonna want like there's nobody down there.
Well,
really.
we got the reunion
no-
ball.
Nothing. Yeah,
There's nowhere to
exactly.
go
We got
eat.
that big
There's
eyeball.
no bars to go.
No.
I mean, I'm sure there's a couple.
City Tavern
nothing-
used to be an amazing band that played there a few times called the Archetypes.
Elemento.
The Archetypes, the band I was in.
No, I've never heard of them.
Okay, moving. There's a giant eyeball.
Passerby.
But now that's some other bar now. That's some other place now where
But so
all
we're in
of the
agreement
bars are
about
changed.
the value of it being
But-
downtown isn't the same as these other cities that do.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I was going to say the advantage, that's the thing that they don't, I feel like is unacknowledged about. It's like, yeah, these other cities are able to do that because it's like, also, do they really have a choice? How many of these other places that it's like,
How big is that city? Is there
Exactly.
even, that's another
like,
good point.
it's like we have so much room in real estate here in
good point.
Texas where it's like, and honestly, it's not that bad. And like going to Arlington, yeah, it's kind of, it's out of the way. But one of the nice things I think about it is when you're out there, it's everybody that's out there is to watch the game. They have some
the new stadium
or the baseball
Stadium.
game, either the baseball game or the football
Because
game,
they're literally right across
right next to each other. And so my point with that is that it's like any of the element that's gonna be around there is gonna be, people out there enjoying the game or going to watch the game. It's like you're not gonna have, some of the other shit that comes with having stadiums in downtown areas and stuff like that. It's like, and two, do we really want more fucking traffic around 35 and all that shit? And
Yeah, as a citizen, I definitely don't. But you just always know those conversations are tied to some kind of fiscal benefit.
I was gonna say,
whether it's
taxpayers.
obviously, taxpayers, a larger venue that they can use for other events outside of when they're married. So it's
Well, I think that's part of it.
it's all
too.
the money thing is possibly having another venue as much as anything.
I think part of it too, they were saying, is they want their own spot. They're like, whatever it is they do.
we share with the
wouldn't be-
stars.
the stars wouldn't be coming along as far as I understand it. That was part of the. Was
It's
like
strictly- it would
them.
be
It
strictly
would be
basketball.
like a basketball, whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
and,
sorry,
and,
I should
they
have specified.
it was like, and it would probably
Pretty
still
dumb.
be used as like a concert venue and stuff like that. But it was like, as far as sharing it with another,
I don't know. I know it's dumb, but honestly, that argument works the best for me. It's stupid, but I'm just saying, for whatever reason, it's like that's
Yeah.
the Stars' place, that's their place. I can buy that logic for whatever reason, as
Yeah.
stupid as it is,
But
more
then
than I
at
want to
that
buy
point,
anything else.
then at that point, you really are spreading it out. And to me, the way I look at it is that it's like, what kind of timing? It's interesting timing. I know Cuban wanted to do it years ago. He had talked about wanting to get a new stadium or a stadium for them built. But it's like, you just trade away your generational talent, and now you're like, let's build a new stadium. And
it's the conversations that are being had. In my mind, I don't know if there would be the same
Speculation
person that's, I want to trade this guy, and I'm going to
two
be the one who
different-
makes this decision. I think they're two different things for the most part.
They are, but it's still just interesting that
As
the
a fan.
conversation, like, you're still aware of what's going on. If
Yeah.
your timing couldn't be worse. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, we want a new
I
stadium.
actually-
It's like,
you
I
know
don't
what?
give a shit where you play.
I
I'm not
think
coming
it's.
to watch you.
I
Yeah.
could see it being
'Cause then that's
BS
the
just
thing.
to have something to talk about right now. The
Well, I was
Yeah.
going to say, if they
Something
do,
positive
it
or
could,
something to-
and if they do build a stadium, that's
Yeah.
the thing, is that, like, with the weird part about it is that you traded Lucas, so you lost a lot of fans.
Yeah.
And then two, it's like, what's going to come with a new stadium in a better badass location, better place, and all that? Higher ticket prices. So now, you're asking people to come pay more money for a team that they've already kind of lost, that you've lost their faith. So that's just what I think. is interesting.
Maybe
it's like,
that's a draw. The new stadium is a draw to try and at least
could
get
be
people out
for some
that are
for
pissed
some
about it.
Might, but also too.
Yeah, I mean, it's
for me,
the point.
but for some people,
yeah.
they're going to be like, "Damn, I got to pay more money to not see Luca."
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm just trying to
But yeah,
make up reasons.
There'd definitely be the segment that would be like, well, I don't really care that they suck. I just want to go see the new stadium. Like,
Yes,
Yeah,
lot of
and
people
it's just
still-
I wonder how
and it-
real it is. But
and it would be the hot new thing. Well, I mean, I think the more time goes on, the realer and realer it gets.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at
and
think about the average age of a lot of venues
seems like
before they're
7
upgraded.
years.
And like I said,
Right?
with Cuban back in the day having talked about it, it's like having mentioned wanting to get their own spot, but
Yeah, and I mean, in honesty, just the high more capacity. If they've sold out and do well enough, then it really probably does make sense to have a larger capacity venue where they can have more seats and all more. So, well, I look forward to going.
right.
Yeah. So I think
We'll go stand out front and we'll do man on the
I know
street.
what I can get. Yeah. What? We'll wait
That'll be
till
our
then. That's
first-
how we
will
know
be our
when to do
first-
it.
That'll be our first time we actually do it.
We don't want to rush. We don't want to rush it. We want to know it's the right time.
Yes.
A new stadium.
And so, with that being said,
Are we pulling out of the station? It's a neutered horn you got there.
yeah. So we're pulling away from speculation station.
Bye.
So that
See you
was
at the station.
fun. Thank you for speculating. And now
Yeah, what's the last time we speculate?
now
ever?
shouldn't we go ahead and do what we do, which is
What we do best.
I feel like, dude, you need to
Filming
I'm sorry,
the
man.
class?
We got to step it up, dude. I'm gonna shit all over this real quick. We need a sound like a boom, boom, boom.
Oh, you want
soundboard
drops? Do you want to do drops? Is that
Yeah,
that's
dude.
what you want?
Come
I'm not
on,
trying to
dude.
be that.
thing? Come on. We
I'll
want
do
all
I'll
of
do
them.
gimmicks with what we talk about.
Okay,
but
so
I ain't trying to do
physical.
drops.
So pull out the little windy thing though, or something, and do physical ones.
You know what? I think you bring your phone, and if you start playing stuff on there and put it, I'm like, I can't stop you.
No, but I mean, like, bring out the little. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I
Clapper
just sold
hands.
that on Facebook Marketplace.
I want
this
you to put a
afternoon.
box together full of tchotchkes.
I'll get Sela's switchboard.
There you go.
We'll do that.
I was playing with that thing out there. I was like, Stephanie, would you get this?
Yeah.
She was like, oh, that's Sela's.
electrical engineering.
I'm like,
Yeah,
dude.
no, she's figuring it out, man. She's figuring it out. So film class, buddies. What was the year?
The year was
74.
1974.
70.
And it was an interesting year. The
definitely was.
hairstyles were, they were styling.
They were straight 70s, yo.
We're right in the height of the 70s. The heat was turned up that year.
The heat is on.
Gerald Ford,
No Jer.
he was your president. He became the president on August 9th, 1974, after Richard Nixon resigned. They were like, hey, Nixon, you got to get the fuck
What
outta
happened
here.
there? What did Nixon do something? Man, so what movies you got?
Nixon's a good guy.
He started asking too many questions. Is what he did.
He recorded too much. I think he had
Nixon
too
was a
many
good guy.
recording devices set up.
That's damn sure what they said.
Yeah, so
So your president was Gerald Ford.
Also,
like I said,
inventor of the automobile,
yep.
Henry Gerald Ford.
yeah, no,
He changed his name and became president.
And then Ford served as president until January 20th, 1977, when he was succeeded by
Reagan?
Jimmy Carter.
No.
Carter's.
Carter.
Oh, Carter. He's still alive, or he just died, right?
Jimmy Carter.
He just passed
But
away.
you know what's nice though
He's
is that
the-
he's going to be voting in the next election.
I bet there'll be a few
Still
Jim
be voting
Carters.
Democrat.
Jimmy Carter's still D down the ballot.
And I really don't know enough even about his presidency, but he just kind of looked like an old guy you wanted to slap.
He looked like Mr. Smithers.
He
Or like
was.
He
Jerry
just kind of looked like a guy's like.
He was widely considered until our previous president to be the worst president in American history. It was like that was the
Jim
middle
Carter?
of the the gas crisis and all that.
That makes sense.
And that's part of the reason why history is, depending on who you talk to, look so favorably on Reagan. Was because of how bad the Carter
He was
years
set up.
were, where it was like
When you have a
just
terrible opening
inflation,
band or whatever.
all kinds of stuff.
It's like you'd have to go out of your way to screw this up, basically.
Yeah, it was.
So I can. You want to go first, Mikey? You want me to go first? I know we'll definitely have some crossover, but you can. You let me know.
I can go. It doesn't matter. You
Then
can
I
go.
will.
You can
Yeah,
go.
yeah. You know.
You
what?
go.
You know what? You know what? Yeah. So I didn't. So what to actually get on to watching? So
That movie
And-
came out in '74. AI.
the AI did come out in '74.
With Will Smith.
So I'll go and knock out these two Mel Brooks joints because they both came out this year.
shit.
Oh shit. Yep.
So We got the old Blazing Saddles came out this year,
The sheriff is near.
and it's a timeless one. That's for sure. Definitely appreciate
They should
different
remake
periods
this.
in time and the jokes and
They should remake
it's-
this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Who do you
if they
think
modernize it,
Question: Who do you think would remake this? Tarantino?
Kanye West.
Chris
dude,
actually nailed
for
it.
whatever it's worth, I could see Tarantino getting away with it
I could too.
Oh yeah, no,
because
he definitely could.
he owns using certain language in a movie when
He
it
owns
makes
using a certain word in
Yeah,
movies.
to
That's
where
for
if it-
damn sure.
So he's proven that he's got the balls to do that.
He does.
So
He's an odd-looking guy, isn't he?
Oh, Tarantino.
No,
Yeah.
He's a goofball.
he's like the type of guy.
He
that's
looks
in
like a
feet.
goober. He looks like a guy you might want to slap too. But I do love his work.
Torn from the fiery pages of the mightiest annals of the West comes the supreme saga in the great tradition of frontier drama.
Mel Brooks is an Indian.
Schwarzes.
See that?
Yeah.
He is a rock.
Yeah, but
shoot
shoot
with
with his head. That's such a good part. You really are the Waco kid.
Yeah.
He rode a blazing saddle, he wore a shining star. His job to offer battle to bad men near and
Man, Sammy
far.
Davis looks great.
What's your name?
It's a joke.
Well, my name is Jim,
Yeah, this is
but most people call me Jim.
Well, do your best. Now, let's see. Where were we? Oh, Rock Ridge.
He was in that Kubert movie. From
exactly
last year.
the
I want that land.
bull rider. Yeah.
Clumsy
Yep.
fool. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. There might be a legal precedent. Of course. Land snatching. Let's see. Land. Sea snatch.
Hello, handsome. Is that a 10-gallon hat?
I feel like that's the lady
Yes,
that
right here.
Okay, give us a hand here.
All right, sir.
Helena Bonham Carter built her career off of.
Madeline Kahn.
Hey, that was the first use of auto pen.
The heroic sheriff rallies his citizens in the wildest finish the West has ever seen, or the movies have ever shown.
Mongo. Mongo like beans.
Ever seen such cruelty?
Very funny
Definitely-
movy.
Dude, if
That
you've
trailer
not,
was-
you have to see that movie.
Yeah.
It was a
Trailer was
lifeline.
kinda bad. So next
Jesse
one,
Owens.
the funny thing is that this and Young Frankenstein came out in the same year by Mel Brooks.
And
I'd
both
watched
had
Young
Gene
Frankenstein a
Wilder
long
in them,
time
too,
ago.
didn't they?
Yeah. I don't know if either of you had watched it before or
I had never
no.
had.
And so I watched this with my dad Thursday. And I'm like, oh, this will be one to rewatch again. Well, I guess maybe I hadn't actually sat and watched it all the way through. But it definitely seems like one of these movies he worked on a lot harder to make sure it was a lot funnier. Because it really wasn't that. It really was. And
Young Frankenstein was in black and white too.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it was making fun of Frankenstein
Yeah, the
movies.
original,
So
yeah.
I almost want to think, hopefully, if I go back and watch the original Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein actual whatever movies that's making fun of, maybe I'll think it's funnier. But other than that, there's a lot of jokes that are just obvious. The jokes were some of them obvious, and it wasn't funny
Yeah,
or
it's like-
executed well. I'm like,
Or it'd be
this
like
really isn't
like we talked
funny.
about the other week about the fucking pug just stole a French fry.
Yep.
Did you get it?
Yeah, and it's on that.
So I was saying, because Blazing Saddles, even now, there's stuff in there that will make you laugh. So it's like he understood the humor, how to make people laugh enough to where it's like, did he just not try his? I was like, what's going on here? But either way, let's see. Trailer. It was surprising, but it was definitely about 10% of what I would hope the laughter factor would be here. Other than Gene Wilder just being loud and crazy, which I think I love him. I love it the way he yells and gets loud and crazy. I almost feel like this is just an excuse for him to be that kind of manic guy the whole time. And Peter Boyle's in here too. So
Oh shit, he is.
Yep. Pete Boy. Petey Boy.
It's coming from
I'm
the
gonna
deep,
come.
dark recesses of the mind of Mel Brooks. I love him. Young Frankenstein.
It's funny how he's
See, there he is. Peter Boyle.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. It's the
This
monster.
guy means business.
Starring Gene Wilder as Dr. Frankenstein.
That's Frankenstein.
Looks like Chase, doesn't
Peter
it?
Boyle as the monster.
Fox? Yeah, kind of a little bit.
Marty Feldman as Igor.
My grandfather used to work for your grandfather.
I'm sure we'll get along splendidly. Oh,
Cloris Leachman as Frau Blucher. And Madeline Kahn as
Cloris
Elizabeth.
What do you want to do to me?
Yep.
I'm not afraid of you.
Kill the monster! See Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein.
yes, I think we could all use a good laugh.
But don't see it alone. Don't miss Young Frankenstein, personally directed by Mel Blazing Saddles Brooks. In black and white.
He's-
No offense.
He's like in my other great movie.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
like,
him. He's awesome.
oh, so that was funny. Let's see what else.
He's so great. Like that's so fucking great.
I'm gonna jump to a trailer for a little movie. Let's see. Look, with the death thing, a wishing of death. Death Wish.
Oh shit!
It's a
Charlie
movie
Bronson.
that yeah.
It's based on a true story.
Oh, okay. And it had been on TV when I was a kid, randomly, like on Saturdays or something. But I'd never actually watched it. This is the first time me watching this.
This is the one where he's on the train, right? Or wait, is that the one I'm thinking of?
He's an architect, basic. It's a lot like that death sentence movie.
No, that's
where
exactly what it is. It's death. Yeah, it's this is based off of what was the guy's name? Bernie Getz or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't even know.
Just play the trailer.
Anyone else hearing an echo? Am I crazy?
Are you echoing?
I feel like
Hello?
maybe it was, but maybe it's just because how
You
loud
echo,
this
bud?
is. Okay, I think it's just how loud this is. Here we go.
Enjoy a typical afternoon in New York City.
Groceries, man.
Oh yeah,
Your
that's the
boy
one with
Jeff.
fucking Jeff Goldblum.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, it's based on.
Yeah, it's Jeff Goldblum.
My name is Paul Kersey.
I don't get why does he always play sex
I'm
offenders?
sorry.
I want to do
She
a
died a few
mustache
minutes
like
ago,
that.
Mr. Kersey.
I'm bringing that
Any
mustache
chance
back.
catching these men?
That's a bold move.
There's a
Pull that
chance,
off.
sure. Just a chance. I'd be less than honest if I gave you more hope, Mr. Kersey.
This is Paul Kersey.
Oh,
This is the story of a man
popped
who
his
decided
ass.
to clean up
Dino
the
De
most
Laurentiis?
that was back when men were
violent
gentlemen
town
and
in
they'd
the
carry a 6-gun and just shoot you and go home.
Heck yeah.
Very impersonal.
world. He begins where all the super cops leave off.
Oh shit! He just started.
Where's
busting.
that?
Gone down by how much, sir?
Is that John Goodman?
Yes, that is John Goodman.
470 you reported last week.
No, it's actually John Madden.
So many people know that.
Damn.
And you want to keep it that way, huh? Oh, no, we have to keep it that way, Inspector. This whole city would explode.
Make sure you hold those nuts and offer them to the guys in the room.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
it threw the
Zapped him.
newspaper.
Yep.
Voice.
Wow.
I urge him
That's
in the
funny.
name of law and order to desist from this
that
one-man
check?
crusade and turn himself into the police.
Let's see the money, man.
Oh, come on, man. You jive turkey.
That's
Oh,
a Keith
shot his
Stanfield.
ass. Oh,
Call him a mad
Wow.
vigilante.
yeah.
Call him a hero.
Oh, single action Colt.
Either way,
Oh, shit.
He's always
Tell you
on
what, though,
target.
Charles Bronson definitely has that
want you to get
the
out of
face
the
and look that I would be intimidated to see him just walking up to me.
Well, he was a
Death
legit,
wish.
like rough
Because
motherfucker.
a
Definitely
death
look like
wish
one.
always comes true.
He really shot that guy.
Yeah.
He was a bad dude.
Boom.
He was like, I want it to look realistic, so he shot the guy, and nobody snitched on him. They're like,
There was
keep rolling, man.
It was in the 70s. There was I think it was Bernie Getz or something like that. That I don't know if he had been like mugged or something like that.
No.
And then ended up like going back like later on, basically like got a gun and then like started riding the subway.
Okay.
Shit.
And
Was like,
waited for
"Try
somebody
me."
to rob him, and then ended up he like killed a couple of.
Then he was
Killed
like,
a
hey,
couple
let
of
me
muggers
ask you
and stuff.
something. Your mother, she know how to sew? Bing, get her to sew that.
So some oats?
It was in Joe Dirt.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I've only seen that movie once.
Willem Dafoe. What the fuck am I saying?
A big
Christopher
old
Walken's character in the hallway.
Yeah, I
He's,
need to watch it again.
Doing his smack talk to a fire extinguisher.
To the kids on his turf, he was a
Yeah, I need to rewatch it.
I'll take an order. To the cops.
What movie is this?
One that Mikey suggested.
Everybody loves Raymond.
A little movie called Crazy Joe's on Tubi. And Mikey said, check it out, and I said, I will.
A threat.
You only cause more confusion. You'll spill more blood. Just taking what should have been mine.
Watching Father from Everybody Loves Raymond
Was a headline.
get his kill on.
Yeah.
Get his kill on.
Be an absolute goon.
Yep.
Crazy Joe.
He did work. He did work, that's for sure.
He was a junior executive in the biggest business in the world.
400.
Service to the family.
Racketeering.
Stuff don't pay the rent.
Then he took a shot at becoming chairman of the board.
It was supposed to, it's supposed to be Joe Gallo.
Yep.
Yeah. Crazy Joe Gallo.
So I guess it is based on a true
Yeah.
story. Then, yeah.
These old greaseballs moved over and gave us some room.
Yeah, he was the boss of the Colombo family.
No, but he played for the Rangers.
Don't believe what you read in the paper.
Yeah.
Telling you, man, don't be lying to me.
The boys up in Harlem had
That's
something he
fucking-
needed. Lots of black uptown muscle.
Jaquay said that?
And he had
The
something
Rock.
the brothers wanted. Brooklyn.
It's kind of had a Lenny Kravitz look. What?
To take on the family.
Under protection of the new management.
To rip off their money.
Hey, I want to see $35
I think this.
in this machine this week.
I think we could make money doing something like this, Mikey.
Yeah, let's go.
Protection.
To stay alive.
Yeah, protection.
We could offer protection services to people on our own
You
street.
have to be smart.
The criminal has the guts to go against the social order.
You have to be quick.
You're in Dutch, baby.
You have to be ruthless.
You gotta sleep in the coffin.
Crazy.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Crazy Joe.
You know why they called him Crazy Joe?
He was insane. Oh no! What did
He
you
was
hear?
actually one of the most level-headed guys you meet.
Okay.
So they just thought it'd funny to be, hey, call him Crazy Joe. Sure, he shot a few people. But
Like we used to call you Black Mikey, right?
I don't think they called him Crazy Joe when he was younger.
Yeah, they waited till he was no longer alive, probably.
As tomorrow's.
No, because he was the one that like later on in life, like really attempted to like he would go outside in like a fucking bathrobe and shit like that. Like when he was under like FBI surveillance, really tried to play like the I'm losing my mind.
Oh, like what's
Call
his
him,
name
like,
did?
Crazy Joe
Freaking-
Gallo.
And this week has
Like,
been
what's his name?
Like Jeffrey
absolute-
Tambor in Arrested Development.
No, but that other mob guy that happened to Capone. Because Tom Hardy, they made that movie where Tom Hardy was
I didn't
playing
get through the first 10 minutes.
was
of that
playing
fucking
him
movie.
as the old senile guy who losing his mind.
Well, Al Capone died of fucking syphilis, though.
Exactly,
he
it
was
makes you
actually
go
losing
crazy.
his yeah, but he was actually losing
Yeah.
his mind. Joe Gallo
He
wasn't. Joe
just
Gallo
saw
was
that and said,
pretending
"I'm gonna
like
do
a
that."
Fox.
So yeah,
He did like
there's
the
my
guy
movies.
in Training Day. Reached into his pants, pulled out a handful of peanut butter, licked his fingers clean. It was like Judge gave him 6 months in the loony bin.
Puzzle Factory.
That was what it was, Puzzle Factory.
puzzle.
Yeah.
All right, so that was great. Those are great movies.
Yeah,
I love
there's
the
a
fact
bunch
that you liked. No, dude, it was a whole bunch.
Because I
and
think
I'm
with The
gonna-
Godfather
I'm about to get
2 and
into
stuff,
it.
so hopefully cover ones that.
Yeah, I'll probably cover a
Well,
few.
you can just mention. We don't have to. But yeah, there's some. Or the
One that I think
conversation
we need
was
to
the
watch.
only one I have to bring that it should.
One we need to pull up.
conversation.
It's definitely one that has to. We got to watch the trailer for. Hopefully, it's a good one. It'll be my first recommendation. If you haven't seen it, which if you haven't, shit, go watch it. That's what we're here for.
Yep.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep.
The very first one.
Yep.
This shit was terrifying.
Turner Classic Movies.
This shit was terrifying.
TC.
Yep, I remember my sister renting this as a high schooler.
McConaughey.
But yeah, I have to say, The Conversation, Gene Hackman, it was a different Francis Ford Coppola movie came out. It was actually worth checking out. Let's see. But here we go with Chainsaw Man. We got Leatherfaces. And I didn't realize, but the same guy that directed this first one also directed Life Force. Tobe
Really?
Hooper, whatever his name is. Yeah.
Huh. It's got everything you need.
It does. Hey, homeboy. Looked like he didn't take a
Fucking
bath once a month, maybe, but he knew what he knew.
Actually,
his stuff.
like looking back, it kind of looks like the guy that played Jeffrey Dahmer in the fucking.
Oh gosh, I can see
Netflix
that.
shit,
Yeah.
whatever. Only his hair was like darker, like Homeboy's
What happened was true.
Oh. Whoops.
Zap you, dumbass.
We're gonna eat you for dinner.
The most bizarre and brutal series of crimes in America.
He's a chicken killer, right? Let's see. Yeah, I've definitely never watched this all the way through.
Really?
The very first one.
Yeah.
I remember watching it on because it came on AMC or whatever back in the day, on whenever we had cable, and it was like. So I remember actually seeing it.
Yeah, I know my sister looked at it. When we were in high school, she rented it. She'd be watching it.
This is the movie.
I'd be saying,
that is
I'm
just
tell
as
Dad, you're
real,
not supposed to rent this kind of movie, Christina. You're gonna have nightmares.
just as close, just as terrifying as being there. Even if one of them survives, what will be left? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. After you
This
stop
definitely
screaming,
paved the way
you'll
for
start
many
talking about it.
other like.
It paved the way in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
One of those being safety, in a sense, which I'm sure it came. I don't know how the ways
Safety.
they improved.
Say that again. Oh,
Safety.
film on the filming of it.
Yeah. So apparently, the movie was shot in Central Texas during a heat wave. The temperatures often exceeded 110 degrees. The
Sounds like a
actors,
Texas
I was
summer.
about to say, sounds like fucking Texas.
the actors wore the same costumes every day to maintain continuity,
And stench.
which were soaked with sweat and became putrid after weeks of filming in the
Everybody
heat.
got fucking staph infection.
Yeah. Leatherface's chainsaw was real and functional. During the film, actor Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface, nearly injured the cast multiple times due to lack of safety precautions. At one point, he actually tripped and missed, falling onto the blade and missing it by inches.
Inspiration for Alec Baldwin's future work.
Man. It's like fucking thing just went off.
marathon shoot led to mental breakdowns. The infamous dinner scene, the climax of the film, was shot over 27 continuous hours. Actor Ed Neal, the hitchhiker, said filming that scene was worse than his time in Vietnam.
It's a fucking director that just he wanted to put him in there until they went fucking crazy.
The
hilarious.
intense lighting, smell of rotting food used for realism and extreme heat caused multiple breakdowns on set. Could you imagine that? He just got some dude said it was worse than Nam.
Yeah.
He's like, how long were you in Nam for? At least like a year or so. He's like, dude, that was
Seriously.
worse than my whole time in Nam.
And I bet there's none of it is being the director trying to being crazy. Because I think it had to be one of his first movies. Probably he's just that's how it went. It was a rough shoot.
It says Sally's finger was really cut. It says one scene Leatherface slices Sally's finger to feed blood to Grandpa. It says the fake blood pump wasn't working, so Gunnar Hansen actually cut actress Mary Burns' finger with a razor blade. The shot was 100% real. That was real blood. He was dripping into Grandpa.
Man, that's
the
wild.
cast was barely paid.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of the actors were paid very little or nothing. Sometimes in deferred payments, like usually how baseball teams.
He's like, yeah, like I got you.
I gotta get that check.
He's like, hey, Matthew's not answering his phone anymore. He's like, hey, remember that movie we made where you cut my fucking finger? Like,
despite the film earning millions, it cost $140,000 to make it, and it earned over $30 million. Many involved saw almost no money.
Yeah,
many involved saw almost no money due to shady distribution deals and legal entanglements. No shit.
That's the name of the game, yo. That's the name of the game.
And lastly, apparently, it was almost a PG film.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it
there's
was in the 70s.
PG and R, so
yeah.
So
it would have been G, but they were like, you know what?
I guess if you think about the actual scenes of outright gore, it's really just more insanity in like kind of gory settings,
uneasiness,
but
this
is actually interesting to think about.
Another one, which you could, if you want to pull up a trailer, cool. If not, whatever. Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh yeah.
That was one they remade not too long
with
ago.
John Depp. This was the original.
Yeah, it was. Twas.
John Depp.
Jonathan.
Also, too, one that came out this year, iconic movie. We don't necessarily have to, but if you want to, The Longest Yard.
With
Burt Reynolds,
old Bertie Reynolds. And then another one
did not need a remake. I'll tell you that much.
This one, if you want to watch
did not need a remake.
If you want to watch a thing for you could. If not, it doesn't matter.
You tell me, brother.
Fuck it. Why not? Because it could be our second. Why not? The reason is because there's synchronicity. It's Charles Bronson flick, Mr. Majestic.
Okay.
It's on Tubi. Mr. M-A-J. It's M-A-J-E.
Wait, so this is the one that they remade with Jim Carrey?
Huh?
Yes.
They remade this later on, and Jim Carrey played the good guy, right?
Potentially.
The Majestic?
Mr. Majestic. Mr.
I knew I was picking up what you were putting down.
Majestic.
M-A-J.
Mr. Testic.
J-E-S-T. There, down, 3, the third one.
I'll just do trailer. Look here, son.
Mr.
I know how to use a keyboard.
Cambodia.
It's
trailer.
That's not how it's spelled. But that.
Wait, the 1974?
J-E-S-T-K.
Yeah, that's
there
it.
we go. Let's see. Once I hit trailer in there, I knew it'd take me there.
M-S-T-Y-K, bro.
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Bam.
Oh, shit.
All right, let's see what this is about. See the silhouettes of 3 dudes just talking the whole time. It's like, what?
And if you look at me again like that, I'll kiss you.
Man, a lot of people doing multiple movies
Last
this
year,
year.
Billy Jack became one of
Billy
the most
Jack.
popular pictures of our
Billy
time.
Jack.
Knick-knack.
Oh,
This is
Billy
a
Jack.
knick-knack,
Was applauded by
paddywhack.
audiences across the nation. Now,
Give that frog a
Charles
line.
Bronson is Mr. Majestic in a movie that touches the hero in all of us.
Yeah,
Vincent Majestic was an ordinary man. He wanted to work his farm, live
they
his
toss
life,
him
Melon
mind
farmer.
his business,
Hey, didn't somebody say something about a cold beer after work?
but they wouldn't let him.
Hey, I don't think I know you.
Come over from La Junta with some top-hand pickers.
Hire who I want.
Yeah, well, you see, you want me. Only, it ain't sunk into that thick brain of yours yet.
They frightened his workers.
Tell them they don't work here anymore.
You got 2 minutes to get the hell in your cars and get out of here.
They tortured his friends.
Oh, shit.
They threw
What?
him in jail.
Dante from fucking the Sandler movies.
I understand I should keep my mouth shut.
They destroyed his crops.
Not the melons.
Python.
That's
They forced him to become what he never
it's
meant
still
to
edible.
be, a hero. Why are they calling Mr. Majestic
Blended
the
watermelons.
one movie you must see
We got
this
blended
year?
watermelons
Ask
this
anyone who's
this week,
seen it.
guys.
Anyone.
Ask
Charles
anyone.
Bronson
Anyone.
So
is
you
Mr.
watched it?
Majestic in a movie that touches
no.
the hero in all of us.
But I wanted to
But
recommend
it did come out.
It did come out, and I was like, you know what, we need to watch it because
I think it's mandatory that you watch that tonight.
This monkey.
it will. Okay.
Can't go.
so
Well, okay.
now-
There's a trailer I need to show for a movie I actually wanted to watch, but I didn't.
Okay. Well, I'm not even done. Maybe I
Okay,
bring
don't
it
let
up.
me forget though.
Don't
no,
let you forget.
You're not gonna bring this up.
Okay, the movie you
I
should
promise
watch,
you won't
which
bring
is
it
a good one.
The rapist. What?
Therapist?
Bring
that
up
what
your
you said?
movie. I don't want you to forget. Go ahead. I got mine right
another
here.
Gene Wilder movie, and I found it on a pirate streamer, but it was dubbed in German, and I couldn't find an English one. This little movie called Rhinoceros.
This was one I was on my list.
This is the one I was gonna.
Yeah. Chris had this one in a piece of. Chris, reach into your right pocket, pull out the piece of paper.
Reach into your left scrot. Inside the ball, you'll find a piece of
You
paper.
started watching that shit. Bono.
Yeah, I'm probably like 70% through it.
Bro, it's just Smokey and the Bandit.
You're telling me, brother. You saw what I typed in here. It's trying to make me do other stuff.
Rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros.
Rhinoceri.
How did I close that
Bro, you
thing?
spelled Rhinoceros.
Rhinoceroses.
Rhinoceros. Sisyphus.
Rhinoceros.
It looked like a crazy movie.
Is a rhinoceros.
Carl is a rhinoceros.
You're talking gibberish. Nixon became a
Phil.
rhinoceros.
The press just made it up. They do these sort of things to sell papers.
No! I was chased
Hey.
all the way here by a rhinoceros.
The movie's literally about people who turn into rhinoceros.
What is that thing?
Rhinoceros is an agonizingly funny, great movie, according to the Boston Herald American. Based upon Eugene Ionesco's audacious, outrageous masterpiece of the modern theater.
What's going on?
Rhinoceros, brilliantly directed by Tom O'Horgan. Says the critic of the Dallas Times-Herald,
Hey.
this comedy is a joy to see.
You know it's good then.
Enjoy turning into
Yeah,
a
the Dallas Times Herald doesn't around anymore. So it's been that way.
That opinion has been nullified. It's made moot. I believe he's beginning the
Starring one and only
transformation.
incomparable Zero Mostel.
Hey, speaking of,
I am not a
People who
crook.
try to hang on to their individuality always come to a bad end.
And the intoxicating Karen Black.
Damn, Karen. Shit.
Can you honestly say that that's a language?
back when Karen was a good name to throw around.
Real. Karen was Sharon.
Yeah.
Just a human being.
Rhinoceros, Eugene Ionesco's classic stage comedy of Western civilization, becomes a wild, wild movie.
Yeah,
I think I know what I'll be watching tonight. Have you seen? And you watched this?
No, I did.
You're just sharing movies. You
I
watch.
explained. Do you remember what I said about it before we started? Can you
No,
remember?
I
I found it on the pirate streamer, and it was dubbed in German. So it was tough to understand it.
Did you check to see if it was on Tubi?
So you don't.
Oh,
you
I
don't
checked.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
I checked, and I'm actually trying to download the torrent of it, and there's no one seeding this damn movie, so
Can't
I'm having
find
a
it.
rough
So
go.
instead, I fucking downloaded Babbel, and I'm learning German. And hopefully, I hope to
It's
watch
like,
this
Matt,
movie by the
They
end
found
of
a
the year.
tasteful way of plugging things, didn't
It's like
they?
Matt, you can get it down there at Half Price Books. They sell it.
All right, Mikey. The floor is yours.
Before the trailer movie Foxy Brown, I did not watch this, but it's an iconic movie.
Pam Grier.
Yep, Pam
It's an
Grier.
iconic movie Foxy Brown.
It's true.
It should be checked out.
Yes.
I did watch this one. It's a good one. It should be checked out by all. Thunderbolt and Lightfoot.
Thunderbolt.
You did watch.
Lightfoot, yeah,
this is on the
You
list
should
of
pull up
things
the
that look pretty
trailer.
good.
It was
So it
good.
was good?
It's got
Clinton
two iconic people.
Eastwood.
And who else?
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt.
Okay, watch out for one of those. I got one last week. God.
Jeff Bridges
Lightfoot
is your other buddy.
Logfoot. Thunderbolt and Logfoot.
Dude, if you got Thunderbolt and Logfoot the same foot, dude, you're done.
Thunderboiled Logfoot.
Cut that bad boy off.
Sounds delicious. Thunderboiled Logfoot.
Yeah, if you don't take
What
care of that,
about
it turns into
Thunderboiled
Clubfoot.
Yeah, Bridges is like
Hey, Matt, at what
14.
point are we going to boil that frog I got? That big one.
Dude, looks tasty, don't it? Dude, that's a good looking frog. That's I've never wanted to eat a frog more than whenever I looked at that frog.
See them legs, dude? Deep fried. Matt's thinking about that
Brutus,
frog in
man.
his fryer.
Pixie frogs. Apparently, they the
That is a
tastiest
big-ass frog.
of the frogs you can buy at your local pet shops.
Are you talking about the ones you have out there?
No, they got a new one. Have you not seen it? Whoa.
Oh, it's like that? It's like a hamburger?
Yes.
You gotta figure
Yeah, no,
you
we
gotta
do need
fatten
to
it
do a
up more.
ranking of the top 20 animals you could eat that you can buy at your local pet store.
What is it?
Which way we headed?
We're good
I think it's
together.
rabbit.
10 years too late.
Used to
You starved to
Eat
death
too
on
much
it.
of it. Yeah. You would starve to
Brought
death
back
if you
some
were
extra
eating
goodies.
rabbit.
You out of your mind?
He burned more calories eating it than
Something, it's something good.
It's like
for you
celery.
That fucking Riviera.
Boom. Look at that. That's back when they made cars
Wait,
to last.
so this is the inspiration for Cannonball Run or something?
You don't know shit about
Oh, that's fucking, what's his name? From
You want to play games?
Any which way but loose.
Why not do it again?
He was in Cool Hand Luke,
What's
too.
he mouthing off about now? Montana Armor. We hit
Oh,
the
yeah.
same place,
No
the same
man
way.
can eat
Yeah, so the monkey ain't in
58.
this one, right?
No, that's what I was
That's
thinking
any
too.
which way but
Yeah.
loose.
They
Yeah.
can with armor-piercing shells. At exactly 10:30, Goody, you're
Yeah, that's some bass,
in
dude.
the alley behind the Liberty Lounge. The window's already been fixed, so you can just climb right in there and change your clothes. At 11:30, you get to the telegraph office, and you got to get in there before
Look at that.
11:35, because that's when the alarm goes off.
That's
a
one of
man's
the original
Nobody gets hurt.
Transformers.
Thunderbolt and Lightfoot.
That was Jeff Bridges' ass. In a dress.
He squats.
That's a buxom man.
That's a handsome lady.
Dude,
Man, it's
this
caked up.
is winning for trailer of the year.
Yeah, the
just
trailer's
based on
sick.
The,
Yeah.
and this
Trailer really is
soundtrack,
sick.
dude.
Oh, is it a fucking 20 millimeter? Fucking like anti-aircraft
It's a good
gun?
movie.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. Just the title made me think it was going to be about something else entirely.
Yeah, what is
Something-
that one? I can't think of the
Something
name of it.
loving of the
No, it's
the original peoples, the original livers on this land. Let's see.
it's like Footloose and fucking.
Well, I know the
Something
one of the
like-
monkeys any which way but loose, any
Anyway,
which way you
yeah,
can.
any which-
There's
any
like
which
more
way
than
but loose,
one.
that's what it was, yeah.
Dan Curtis's Dracula. It's on Tubi.
Was it good?
Yeah, you want to?
You tell me if you want to see a trailer.
I haven't
See
seen
what
the
Dan
trailer,
Curtis
so I'd
looks
be
like.
interested to
Yeah.
see
So
what
it's-
the trailer's
I'll
like.
just
I got two left.
1974
This one and
Dracula.
one more.
Yeah, yeah. So
Tony
Jack,
Curtis, Dracula.
Dan Curtis. Damn, Daniel. Daniel.
I can imagine there was a large number of Dracula movies that were coming out all the time. Wait, so there's,
It looks like fucking Martin Sheen in the second picture.
look, how
It
many
really
Dracula
does.
movies came out in '74?
Bro, a lot.
The very first one was the one you were looking for.
We got
Dan
Old Dracula.
Curtis.
Well, I know. I'm just kind of curious or quick to see. Oh, that actually is called Old Dracula.
That's an old man, fool.
Oh,
so damn Curtis.
I'm gonna
No, there's only one.
This is Tony Robbins' Dracula. Let's see.
Tony Rob. What's he going to give us a motivational speech?
Hey there, guys.
Hey, so
I
you
thought
gotta-
my head was big.
you gotta
He's got the
visualize.
biggest head.
I was in the movie Elf.
Of all the horror
I
stories
ate
ever
the elf.
told, one towers above them all. The
Tony
original
Robbins.
masterpiece of the macabre. The undeniable terror of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Jack Palance.
Oh, fucking Curly Bill.
Oh,
Or
Jackie Boy.
What's his name?
Who are you? What do you want?
That looks like Kiefer.
At least he keeps attractive women.
Shadow of darkness across Europe to Victorian England.
It's a good movie, dude. Mise en scene on 10, dude.
It does actually look like a legitimate looking Dracula movie.
Back into the dead past.
Look at that.
Curly was
a nightmare. Stalks through the centuries to embrace the
Bro,
living.
vampires, I'm going to tell you this right now. Vampires are some dogs, dude. It's funny they're not werewolves. Because they're always coming for some ladies.
They definitely seem
They just happen to seek out the hot women.
Yeah, to casually find the ways to the women first.
The legend of Curly's gold.
You're dead.
Elon
That's
Musk?
full gets a split second. Oh, Nigel Davenport. That tooth. Hey. Oh, all right.
Well, Penelope Hornier?
Oh,
Murphy Brown.
Murphy Brown.
That doesn't look anything.
Yeah, that show is a
like,
spinoff. You didn't know that, did you?
What's her name?
Candace Bergen?
I knew it was Candace. I couldn't think of her last fucking name. Murphy's Law.
Now I'm yours forever.
Oh, now she got him.
He was like, and that's when he learned you can't trust these bitches.
Now comes one.
My hose.
I'm trying to get the whole crew capes.
Is that Daniel Day-Lewis?
Dude.
I want to get capes for the whole crew. Would y'all wear a cape if I bought y'all capes?
If you got me a cape, heck yeah.
You would? Chris,
If you,
would you wear
anything
a
I'm giving is a gift, I would most likely wear
I get cool capes.
Oh, he flipped that table, man. That scene was inspired by our Lord.
Yeah. He was like, you guys in here collecting taxes in the church? It's like, somebody give me a whip.
All right,
Drive
last
out the
movie.
tax collectors.
snap.
English motherfucker.
Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3,
Oh.
4, 5,
So he had
6.
They
This is
remade
the
this
second.
movie later on.
They remade this movie 3 times, twice.
Gracious.
With Dean Snell.
The original was in like the 50s, I believe.
Have you seen all of them? I have not seen one of them.
Movie poster.
You haven't seen one of them? Yeah, I have the original movie poster.
For the 70s.
Who's in the newer one?
Travolta and
Oh yeah,
Denzel.
Yeah, that's right. Taking a Pelham. Let's see who we got in this one. Ooh. Wait, is that the same? Which actor is that? It's Jack Black.
It's obviously Darren Aronofsky.
Mikey would know. Mikey would know this.
Darren Aronofsky.
1:23 p.m.
Or is this?
A crowded subway train.
This was the original, though. I thought there was one before this.
No. This one
starts its run from Pelham Station in the Bronx. 1:45 p.m. Ford,
That's good. Didn't
desperate,
sound like
heavily
you have to
armed,
wait.
But I have the
seized
poster for this
control of the
movie.
train,
Open the door or I'll blow your head off.
taking 17 people as hostages.
Your attention, please. Now then, you'll all remain seated. Anybody who tries to rise is going to get shot.
That's a gentleman robber.
He's going to get
Excuse me. Could I borrow your
Made
paper?
myself understood.
2:13 p.m. The city of New York is given 1 hour to come up with $1 million ransom.
You're out of your skull.
All units stand by on the
Oh,
double.
Walter Matthau.
The train's been hijacked.
Millions have read it. Now you can live it. The taking of Pelham 1,
The
2,
Ride.
3.
It was the bestseller.
Get away with this. You are underground.
He was 26 there.
Precisely 3:13, we are going to begin executing the hostages.
Basically still wet behind the ears.
My orders.
New York City is held powerless in the grip of 4 ruthless men. From the mayor's office.
Don't tell me I don't want to know.
I was trying to sleep.
50 men inside the tunnel, all wearing vests and armed with machine and submachine guns. We can fight the Third World War down there.
to the nerve center
like
of
two
the world's
MP40s,
busiest
bro.
subway system.
My only priority is saving the lives of these passengers.
Maybe an hour isn't enough time.
An hour is plenty of time.
We agreed to pay.
I don't know. It's like how many minutes?
We agreed to pay the money. Now turn your clock off. The money has to be counted, stacked, tied, transported uptown. It just isn't physically possible.
How many dollar bills can you count in 1 hour?
Pelham 123's in motion.
There's nobody driving a train.
You like the motion of the gravy train.
Together anyway.
Just not gonna make it.
We're not gonna make that light. You have to stop.
Beep, beep. Was that fucking
Yeah, Paul Verratti.
Huh?
I said, yep, Paul Verratti.
No, it didn't, but it actually did look like what's his name? Mad About You.
Paul Reiser?
Yeah, that's right.
He about to get killed by an alien. No, yeah, that. 1, 2.
Polymar Pictures, Palladium Productions, making of Pelham 123. That's a lot of P's.
And that brings 1974 to an end. Round of applause.
The winner of best trailer is gonna have to be old Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. I'll tell you that.
Thank you. What spin that wheel spinner man?
Yes.
Wheel spinner boy. Spin that wheel, carnival boy.
And a number generator.
Carnival boy, spin it.
Yes.
Carnival boy.
I'm here to please.
Yeah,
and be
shortstop.
ridiculed.
That's how you should be referred to from here on out. Shortstop.
The year is 4.
The year is 4.
We're gonna have a rough
What's
go
the
with
best
this one.
movie from the year 4?
Well, that would probably be the movie number 3.
It's like right after the Garden of Eden.
69. Have we had 69? Let's see.
I don't think we've done 69.
I feel like we don't.
But that's within 5 years. I think we could do the other spin rule if we want to, because it's so close to the same decade. Let's see. Where's the Mikey?
I mean,
that was the year that I got my first real 6-string.
That is true.
I bought it at the 5 and Dime.
I mean,
You played it, dude. You played it to your fingers bled.
No, it was the summer of '69.
Yeah, dude.
There's
friends from school.
There's a handful of good ones in this year now, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, you know this in every.
We had a band.
We did.
Hard.
Do you want to try again, or?
Well, I want to just confirm without.
Okay, I say
doubt.
we spin again. If we don't like it, we stick with 69.
Yeah, I just want to make sure without we haven't done before, without any doubt whatsoever. But the eternal loading, you know,
point. I don't think we did.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But
maybe it'll help you. Can I?
Fuck?
You want me to name? Oh,
yeah, so yeah, we're up for it. So
we can spin again, and if we don't like that year, we'll go with 69.
Let's see.
How about that? Let's come on. Let's
see what we get. I don't know what is up with anytime I try and do the internets when you guys is here. I don't know if y'all are streaming pirate.
Oh yeah, I'm using all your bandwidth. I'm mining
the
crypto.
thing
right
is
now.
wired in.
My car is a crypto mine, and I'm mining Bitcoin right now. Parked in front of your house.
We also stole the copper out of your wires.
That is true.
But
57, I think 69.
I mean, you could do it on your phone if you want. Oh, 57?
Oh, God.
Yeah, 69 it is.
Okay, so yeah, some good ones from that year.
There we go. Oh, if you want to tease, then by all means.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
There you go.
Easy Rider, Wild Bunch, True Grit, Italian Job.
B902.
Heck yeah. Aim to kill you today.
Heck yeah. 69 at B.
Do you know the square root of 69?
What is it, Chris?
It's 8 something.
It
actually is.
It is 8 something. 8 something. Heck yeah, 1969. That's the next one up. Very good stuff. Well,
okay. Do you want to take a quick break and then we'll jump back into the next subject? Everybody go take a tingle. Man,
then 74, dude.
74, man. It came right after 73 like that. Man.
It'll whip you, dude.
It's like you're just hanging out in 73 and all of a sudden 74 is your movies come out and you're like,
I know 73's over.
Man,
I'm like, I can breathe again. I can make it. I can relax. I can lay back. But then
you realize, wait, we're going back to 6.
Tower is going to go all on its own.
I hope you feel good about yourself.
Divine intervention.
I hope you feel good about yourself, sir. We'll be right back. Oh, that's why Chris on the payroll right here. Keeps his mind.
I
busy.
didn't even do anything, man. I went to go grab the.
It keeps
piece.
Chris from committing crimes. We give him Jenga towers to fix. But
this is just incredible, dude.
Yeah.
This is-
So, let's see. We did a silly ranking last week, right? It was kind of silly.
It was a silly one.
Well, no, when you were with us, it was silly. Those rock and roll. Chris wasn't here whenever I did the numbers. I ranked the top 20 numbers. So 1 through 100, we gave a ranking to which of the top 20 numbers. What order should they really be viewed in? Well, that was silly. This is quasi silly.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Because if you've been around me enough, maybe it's an observation you've made, maybe it isn't. But I love aluminum foil. I feel like it can really be used for lots. I feel like people underuse it. I feel like there's potential, and I utilize it. I'll make it I use it for ramekins. I'll use it for, bedded lining. I use it if you go ironing. You stick it underneath. You can use it as a scrub brush, even if you crumple it up
for insulating things.
That
When you
is
put them
true.
in the
You can-
microwave.
Yeah. So you know what?
Don't do that.
You can clean like metal and other things with
rubbing
it.
alcohol.
You can do all sorts of fun stuff with the foil. So I said, I want to know what the top 20 uses are for foil. That might make sense, but might not make sense too.
Yes.
Because it's not some
manufacturing methamphetamine.
You know what? So I was about this here because I like to. So here we got a 4-score rank on this one, guys. We got practicality, creativity, absurdity, and then a wow factor. Just know that all those considerations came into these top 20 rankings here. And I'm going to go ahead and get them. So we'll start at 20, work our way down. Number 20, obviously, mythical hamster invisibility cloak. Urban legend claims perfectly burnished foil cape bends visible light around a hamster. Totally unproven, but I think it still might be real.
Huh.
Number 19, we got the use of foil to bounce sunlight to annoy or entertain pets.
This was prior to the invention of the laser pointer.
Yes, basically the original laser pointer. So I think that seems legit. See, number 18, we got wrap door hardware when painting.
Yeah.
It gets the job done. So let's see. 17, we got micro catamaran bathtub regatta. Science for standby fold holes, add drinking straw mass, race them with fan power. So I've never done that one, guys, but I believe it. 16, we got foil knight armor for action figures. That sounds like a great time.
I feel like I've done that with G.I. Joes when I was a kid.
Yeah, wrap J. Joe and articulated foil plates, and you got a budget cosplay for toys. Nothing like toy cosplay. Really isn't. 15, see, we've got protect your pie crust edges from burning.
That is actually true.
I use a variation of that in pizza cooking.
Or like...
Not for burning, but keeping the cheese from falling around the edge. If I cook half, I put a little...
Yeah, it's like when you make like pot pies and stuff too. Like you do that because otherwise the edge will get like black.
The Sailor Man?
Yeah, pot pie.
Oh yeah, no, Stephanie's all about them pot pies. Let's see. 14, we got a lined ironing board for faster pressing. I don't know if you guys have dabbled in this world. So you slip foil under the cover. It reflects heat, so you iron both sides at once.
Makes sense.
Yeah, laundry nerds swear it shaves minutes. But it's if any minute you get is a minute earned. 13, reflective wall art on a shoestring. You glue
like fucking jail.
Glue foil shards mosaic style onto a thrift store canvas, clear coat it, and voila, budget modern art.
Wait, you know what? That actually a little bit of synchronicity. I saw a theft deterrent device.
There we go.
That was it's called a trash blanket.
A trash blanket. Okay.
Yeah, where a guy like I don't know if he actually used newspaper or if he actually just used like a piece of a bed sheet, but he attached just a bunch of fucking trash to it, like McDonald's containers
And this was
like
a homeless
empty
man you
cups.
saw?
No, it was a dude. It was to protect shit in your car from being stolen. So he has this blanket that's got all this trash attached to it.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of like hiding his shit when he gets out of his car, he just throws a trash blanket over it, so it looks like there's just garbage all in the car.
Dude, that's not bad. That's
No,
not
I
bad.
thought it was pretty good.
Hell yeah. All right, 12. We got a DIY, do-it-yourself Wi-Fi antenna router booster.
Actually, Mikey
I
saw
saw that
that
recently.
a couple days ago. And
There
was
we
like,
go.
We need to try this.
There we go. Number 11, we just kind of talked foil scrub pad for cast iron or grill. So you just crumple it up, make a ball out of it, then use it for scrubbing grates or pans, pots.
Well, and it works good with, I think rubbing alcohol. You use like rubbing alcohol with
Yeah,
it or
not on
something,
your.
or-
Well, no, there's
well, not
different-
on cast iron, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
for
yeah.
like cleaning. There's like bumpers and shit you can use.
Yeah,
like,
you can. Typically, I think you would use just like that warm water,
or
and then just like I think start off with like warm water,
Ocean water, perhaps.
Yeah,
I thought there was some kind of like reaction or something that.
That's
happened
whenever you're doing
alcohols.
like necklaces,
Yeah.
like silver.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
if you put
Mm.
like
Soda.
the line the
Baking
bowl.
soda.
Yeah, baking soda and lemon or something. I think.
Okay.
Like has a reaction with it and like helps clean silver. You can just use baking soda and
You can also
Baking
just
soda
use
is powerful.
ammonia.
Yeah.
Put a little
Tink-
ammonia
tinkle.
in the microwave for like 15 seconds.
Little tinkle.
Drop your chain in there.
Drop your chain. All right, so 10. Mikey, garden bird deterrent strips. So yeah, strips. So yeah, that explains it all.
Birds hate aluminum strippers.
They hate aluminum strippers. 9, Apollo style solar wind collector.
Okay.
So astronauts, they literally put sheets of foil to try and capture solar wind. So this, maybe you can too.
What are we doing with these winds when we capture them?
Well, we're gonna try and train them to be our soldiers, or perhaps
harness the wind.
I don't know. Maybe have our way
What
with
is
them
it?
first.
'Cause it's like
first we'll have our way with the wind, and
Well,
then
you have
we'll-
you have like a rain collector. What is it? A wind collector.
You never collected wind? That's what you're behind the curve, man. That's
I
what
guess
AI
so.
is here for.
I want to know. Have
I
you
guess I'd
ever
have to
count
build-
the wind?
Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon?
I asked the grinning bobcat why he. And number 8, emergency sleeping bag heat liner.
That is true.
You just want to make sure you get the right kind of foil.
That's like the kind of like the space blanket.
The space balls.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Number 7, aluminum foil sculpture. Another easy art
That's
make.
that's a little bit of free birds for your ass.
There we go. Number 6, photo shoot light reflector. This is legit. People make silver, nice looking, basically reflector boards. You can just get a bunch of foil and cardboard. It might not look like
Didn't y'all
you're a
do that?
professional, but
Didn't y'all do that with the umbrella?
Yeah, I tried to, but it didn't necessarily make. It was better just to have the light shining down. It was negligible.
yeah.
In that situation, it came out to be negligible.
Yeah. If we're
I
doing a
did
photo
not know
shoot, it might
number
work.
5.
Yeah. Sharpened scissors by cutting foil. No joke. 10 quick snips realign micro burrs enough to feel sharper, though you're really honing, not grinding
Yeah.
a new edge.
Kind of like stropping.
And
like
it's
with leather.
oddly satisfying. I do agree. It's that feel
I could
of
see
tear.
though. I could see though with
like ASMR.
like, if somebody has like a sensory thing.
Yeah, ASMR
How
freaks.
it would, but I could see
wouldn't like
how
it.
it would like dry, be like
Oh.
nails on a chalkboard or something like that.
It's
where
that fine
like that.
line. It could almost be one or the
Yeah.
other. Yeah. Yep. So number 4, Mikey.
Oh,
Tinfoil
no,
hat
see,
for mind
that's,
control defense.
So I'm already out on this list
No,
because that
dude,
should
what
be
the
number
fuck?
1.
Yeah.
That should be the number one.
well, let's see.
Tinfoil.
3 is the DIY solar cooker reflector. So
That's
you
actually
line a
true.
pizza box flap with foil, angle it at the sun, and you can hit roughly 90 degrees centigrade. 200 F. That's Fahrenheit. Enough to melt cheese or purify water.
Yep.
2, classic leftover wrap. It's a timeless, but honestly, it's about as good as it gets.
That's
The number 1 is a very great
Number one.
I honestly love whoever the dude. This is a
Thermal
great
shield on spacecraft and satellites.
one. This is true. This is 100% fucking true.
Yep, basically stacks of ultra thin aluminized foil. They keep satellites alive. They protect from radiant heat. So basically, we got foil keeping crap safe in space.
Well, too, if you like, you could hide your image.
Oh yeah,
You could hide your image from thermal and stuff by wrapping, like, for instance, if you had like a a tarp. The whole inside of it was wrapped with like emergency blanket.
Yeah.
Which is that, you know,
you could hide from Predator.
Reflective. Yes, exactly, because it wouldn't be able to see you.
Gary Busey should have had that in Predator 2 when he got in half. But yeah, so you know, it's I really do love the foil, and I figured it'd be good to talk a little deep.
You know, it's interesting, dude. It's like I got into foiling for a while for whatever reason. I was a big foiling guy.
I think you know the reason. Mr. Cruth told me about it, and I told you about it. Yeah.
And we're back. Interesting stuff. You guys know we're all fans of movies, obviously, here at the Mikey and Chris Matthew and Chris podcast. And
there's never two names.
Recently, there's a movie that's come out that's been one that some would say is quite played out, right? But there's some interesting things about it. And the movie is Final Destination: Bloodlines.
Yes. So this would be
it's a new
one.
Yeah. Because there were a good number of them, right?
Many of them, yeah.
And there's been a break, exactly. I guess. A pretty long break.
But now they just released a new one. And unfortunately, a guy in it who is a iconic actor, Tony Todd, which y'all were saying something earlier. You know who Tony Todd is? Look him up. If you want to let your brain work it out.
You can. He was a horror. He was a character. He was Was he the Candyman?
Yes.
Boom.
Never seen it, but I knew that
he was the Candyman. So he had a scene in the movie, and apparently it was like he knew, I guess, that kind of a similar thing to Log Lady.
Yeah.
It was like he knew that he was going to be passing away soon, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He's passed away. But he lived a great long life. He had a great career. He brought us a lot of great movies and roles in these movies. He played he was in Final Destination, like in some of the early ones, as like a coroner or whatever.
Okay.
Mysterious coroner.
So
and he's
last
in the newest
last
one.
movie.
Yes.
Then? Wow.
And he in that movie, the final scene wasn't scripted. It was all just him saying he just said whatever.
It's like an emotional,
kind of from his heart. And he said it was kind of cool, like what he said, but it was also sort of creepy. I don't necessarily remember exactly. I know that's funny that
But you know how you felt. You remember the feeling again.
Yeah. And so it's either way. I thought it was interesting that if you see the movie in the end scene or like one of the last scenes with him in it, like where he's sitting there talking, he said something about I really can't remember what it was. It was just good. It was neat.
It's like the saying, it was like, people will forget what you say, they'll forget what you do, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, but pretty spot on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, no, it was interesting. It gave a very ominous and I think really what it was like being self-aware. I think some people have read into it too far. You could look it up, I'm sure, if you felt like it.
Or if you want.
Here, I'll look it up on my phone.
Yeah.
But I think that it's like he shit. Is she out there trying to come out? Or?
No, they're right there. I guess it might have been Stephanie.
You scratching at the door again, Steph?
No, somebody was like.
This? What? This is this door, right?
No, it sounded like it might have been the other door. No, I heard it twice. I heard it like a second ago and then just now.
Oh,
Either way.
That's weird. But yeah. So
but I think it was kind of like him being self-aware as like a horror guy as well, like kind of leaving good horror movie lore. Like he knew that.
He left a little nugget for fans to kind of.
I think it was cool. I think it was like kind of a.
That's cool.
It was more or less saying like I think something about you never know like when it's your time or something. It was kind of like
they've confirmed that was. Not scripted.
It was unscripted. It was just
cool. Did you see this one in theaters?
Mm-mm. But another thing about that movie, did you know that during this movie, like as far as I understand it, it was this movie it happened in, but a roof collapsed. Like while people were watching this in the theater, the ceiling collapsed.
This most recent one, happened like that.
The ceiling collapsed in the movie or whatever while they were watching. Let me see if I can find what he said.
I hope that wasn't in America.
Intentional.
Yeah, because like
It's
the
like-
freaking ceiling collapsing in the theater. That's bad news. That's bad news. It was kind of like that club within the last month or two that it's in Central America club that was like really popular. Even like a lot of baseball players from that area, they go there. That this world famous nightclub.
Really?
It freaking like collapsed.
hear about
And a
that.
lot of like it affected. It was within maybe the last 2 or 3 months.
Really?
Some world famous, yeah, to a lot
heard
of
about that.
athletes from down there. I don't remember the name of it. It was, but that happening at a club that's apparently world famous, been around for over 50 years and like rebuilt.
Yeah.
There's like a rebuilt that had some fire where way more people died than you'd think would be possible in 2024 or 5, whatever it was.
So it says right here in Final Destination's Bloodline, Tony Todd's final scene included an unscripted goodbye message to fans. It says directors knowing Todd was ill and that this might be his last role allowed him to speak from the heart, sharing his thoughts on life, sharing his thoughts on life and death with the audience. Todd's message, which was not a part of the original script, was a heartfelt farewell and a reminder to enjoy every moment. So it's like
That's cool.
yeah, it's pretty. It's
Yeah,
pretty
very
neat knowing
log
they-
lady-ish, like you're saying.
Yeah, it's like nice knowing that. You know,
Did he
it's
look
interesting.
unwell in the movie? I'm guessing he died of cancer or something.
He looked skinny. He was pretty.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know exactly what he
Yeah.
passed away from, but yeah, he looked pretty. You know, he's this skinny old dude.
It's like, what's her name? The actress that played Tony Soprano's mom in The Sopranos.
Drove me crazy.
I know.
But
She played that part
she
so
got
well.
sick and got
she
really
actually she died before I think they finished shooting all of her scenes because there's a few later
It does
on
start
where
to
they
look
do
worse, doesn't it?
and on top of it they ended up like having to go back like the early, not like Photoshop, but like video editing. Like she had passed away and they still had more stuff. So they had to like go through and find, clips of her moving her mouth in ways that they could dub it to make it look like her.
Yeah.
And then,
no.
like, if you know that, you go back and watch the episode, you do you didn't
it's
really
kind
notice
of
it
obvious
until
once you know about it. Yeah.
But yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah, that's like in the it's very sad, and I know a lot of people know about it, but some don't. But in the movie All Dogs Go to Heaven, the scene where, and like near the end or whatnot, where the girl is saying goodbye to her dog Charlie, like because her dog is gone, her dog died or whatever, and he came back and like kind of told her goodbye or whatever, was talking to her, and then she says to him like all right, it's Burt Reynolds is the dog. And then it's a little girl. This little girl actress is playing the little girl in the cartoon.
Yeah.
And they're having this conversation, and she's like, "Goodbye, Charlie." And then he's like, "Goodbye, kiddo," or whatever. And then, but the girl had already passed away during. They had like some tragic accident, and the little girl had passed away.
Oh dang!
So when they filmed that, Burt Reynolds was like
he improv'd
talking
that
a little girl that wasn't there. It was like it got him choked up.
Dude,
because
I can imagine
her saying that.
Yeah, like
I think they said too. They like everybody. I think he did that by himself too. I think they said something like they put everybody out of the room or whatever. The director where he was like,
that's emotional
I
stuff.
think he's the
man.
one that showed me that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but they ended up like. It was just a situation where the girl unfortunately passed away, and then they had to read that scene or whatever. And so him like saying goodbye, it was like it's kind of weird because in the movie, the dog's the one that passed away and the girl's there, but in reality, the little girl actress is the one who passed, and the dog, the guy who
very
played the
young.
dog was
He had to
alive.
be very young.
Yeah, and so
he
it was
wrote
just kind of
he wrote it as like a goodbye to her too. Like it wasn't necessarily scripted that way, but like if you go back and watch the last scene,
That's interesting. That was a heavy movie. That was a heavy kids movie. Even as I was young, I remember that.
Yeah, me too.
It's pretty. I mean, they go to hell for a bit, don't they?
I mean,
or like whatever. It's like it's.
You know what kids movies scared the shit out of me, but like it was good, and I think that's probably why. James and the Giant Peach.
Retouch.
Oh yeah,
did that come out in '96? Because you mentioned
that movie was weird. Because
I think you mentioned something about it.
Animation type shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that movie
motion.
was
bro, that shit was creepy. There was something about that movie where I was like, yo, this shit, it gave me like a feel. I think that's what made me first gave me the feeling of like
Peaches
claustrophobia.
Really?
Because I never
James
was
and the
like
Giant Peach.
claustrophobic.
Did you see it in theaters?
I saw it in theaters, and I never was like claustrophobic. And if I try and think back, that's my thing. If I try to think back on like something that could have made me claustrophobic, and I'm not saying that I'm like technically fucking,
but whatever version
but, like,
that you have,
I'm not like I'm not I'm not a big fan of small spaces.
Yeah.
Like I'll take them for a little bit, but then if the idea of being there for very long, I'm like, fuck this.
Like I'm never gonna be that motherfucker that gets stuck between like some rocks, like climbing in or whatever, where it's like
a rock and hard
nope.
place.
No, I'm not going to be doing all that.
Yeah.
But I just remember it's like thinking about that movie. I remember in that movie, it just gave me in the theater like that feeling of like
impending doom.
I never seen it
exactly.
But I know there's a big old peach in it.
I thought I was in this fucking peach, man. Thought I was
so
in
the
a
kids
peach.
in the peach, huh?
It's the first time I did acid.
Millions of peaches for free.
Go to the country.
There we go.
What do y'all think is going to be the future of like family entertainment? Like something you go do as a family. Like, do y'all like a big? Because is Disney? Have y'all seen all that about Disney? Like how Disney's just kind of like just
Disney,
a bunch of
the brand, or
adults
the theme park. You mean
the theme park? Like how it's just a bunch of adults now.
I know they've definitely done a lot to have things for adults to do. And it's adult only, like, bars and just nightclub and just non-children stuff.
I saw a video.
I don't know.
I saw a video where they were like going and showing like lines, and it was like the same ones where kids should have been in these lines, and adults were going through them. They were packed with a lot of adults, and then it was showing kids intermittent
adults on the rides.
There was kids intermittently, spaced out here and there, and it's like, but. There was a lot of adults without kids. There were these lines.
I think it's still a big family.
I was just gonna say, like the price, like one dude, the amount of money that it costs. It's like
it's
thousands.
A city. No, Disney.
Like
they literally have their own police force. They have their own everything. It's literally like a small city. Disney World.
They have a judge.
Yeah, jury, executioner.
Like,
so no, I mean, I think that's where things gonna be. I don't. Its own kind of destination for families. I don't think. I mean, because that's where they make their money the most. Plus,
how could you prove you're not a psyop? If somebody asked you to prove that you're not a psyop,
I mean, I think that's a question that, by its own nature, kind of leads that even the person asking it to never believe whatever answer they receive.
Sounds like something a psyop.
Whoa,
if I were a psyop, I would.
Yeah. No.
It's like agree and amplify. That's what I would.
Exactly. I didn't even tell you guys about this.
It's like I actually got a letter.
No, but this is legit. So I was doing breathing exercises, right? The other day, like I was like doing some really deep focus, like meditation, breathing exercises. And I triggered something like in my body. And I recorded. I'm gonna have to get, because after a little while I started recording it because I'm like almost like this is an experiment. Because I've read about breathing exercises to try and get to like a hallucination state versus in all these other reasons that people might do to get it. But so I had been doing it for a few minutes. I was doing I started off doing this one thing where I was trying to, basically do an exercise breathing in as wide as I can, basically inhaling my lungs as much as I could for a while. So I probably did that for a couple minutes and I'd hold it. Almost like with the idea of flexing, thinking my lung is a muscle and just like flexing in as much as I could to fill up the space. So I probably did that for a couple minutes. And then I started just trying to see how long I could, with that kind of stretched out lung, aspirate, get myself to breathe fairly rapidly. I was thinking about how much when I run and kind of breathing in, like, okay, I can actually probably do this longer than I expect because of how much I run.
Were you holding your breath at all in between, or were you just in and out?
I was doing that, and I was mixing it up a little bit, right? So I was kind of just going, but let me get to what I triggered here. And so after doing that for a while, and I don't remember if I came inside here because I was laying on my couch doing it. Oh, and then I started doing a mantra more because it was weird. Anytime I would like my mind start thinking about Stephanie comes here, like I'm doing weird. I started getting tingly. It's like, okay, that's interesting. But then eventually, like my arms and hands totally crimped up like this, like totally tense, and my face got tight, and I couldn't barely move my face. And like I'm sitting there, and like I'm not, and I start crying. Not like I'm crying, but like tears are coming out my face. I'm like, I just triggered some weird like, and I'm open for it. I'm like, okay, I triggered, because my whole point was kind of just thinking about what you can trigger your body into, whether it's some kind of healing or I don't know. I didn't have like a target. I wouldn't plan. Yeah. I didn't come into this whole thing trying to do any of this stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't read about this. And so after doing it, and I have to get the video and show you, because I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, my hands were all crimped up, and I was literally trying to unclench them, and it was like I was fighting through my own muscles to overpower myself from the inside. And I was just like, okay, I'm like literally like fighting through myself. It was the craziest thing. And so I'm like, okay, and I'm just trying to like get it back to normal. I'm like, it's kind of doing it, so I'll just start walking, moving around, trying to get circulation. Then I'm thinking, okay, I haven't had water in a while. Water is probably a factor that would maybe help me get my mobility back. So it was late enough. I was able to go over there in the kitchen and get water without Stephanie even knowing anything. I'd come back over here and I chug a whole big thing of water, and I'm moving around more and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm kind of figuring out that was definitely a factor. But and then I was like, okay, if I sit back down and do it again, can I get myself back into it? Because I was like, okay, how much can I control it doing that? And so I was able to sit down and gotta breathe and get it to start doing it again. And I swear, and I have to get the video because my fingers were crimping so weird. I was almost just like, it was like, this hand was like this, almost like I was pointing. This hand was like this. And I was just like, having all kinds of thoughts, like, okay, is it, if I move my hands, are they pointing at something? I'm not making it, and I've got footage. I have to show you this. And so, because it was like, each hand was a little different. I'm like, I thought that was weird, but I could come up with reasons trying to think why they wouldn't be identical with what they were doing. Yeah, but all that to say, I drank water and I stopped. I breathed normally, and I stopped messing around with it at all, and I was able to get back to normal. And then so it's like, okay, I'm gonna figure out exactly what it was.
I think I gave myself palsy.
No, so I'm gonna figure out exactly what this was. So it's called tetany.
Like a side effect of basically hyperventilation.
Here you go, yeah.
You depleted the oxygen.
Something about oxygen. Yeah.
No, it's like the opposite, I think.
Too much oxygen.
What you described sounds very much like tetany, Tetany, brought on by overbreathing, hyperventilation. Very common reaction when people push vigorous breathing techniques a bit too far, too fast. So I guess what's happening inside my body. So rapid, forceful breathing, you exhale CO2 faster than your body is producing it.
Yeah.
So 2, drop in blood CO2, respiratory alkalosis. Blood pH rises, ionized free calcium in the blood falls temporarily. Suddenly involuntary muscle tightening, especially hands, forearms, and around the mouth. Which is exactly it. And then the third step, sympathetic surge and diaphragm fatigue. Muscles all over tense, heart rate may spike, tears can flow as facial muscles contract, and the lacrimal glands are squeezed. Clawed or rigid fingers, tight jaw, face, chest pressors, sometimes tremors. And so, then there's other factors that might make it easier to lead it on: hydration and electrolytes, intentional breath holds, or forceful exhalations, which I was just doing all kinds of mix. But emotional release, deep meditative states sometimes bring up strong feelings, crying. So I was kind of just trying to do it like a whole meditation journey to see what kind of. Because actually I had the mindset of just trying to do an internal body healing by just putting it through a crazy amount of stress to try and trigger it to want to recover in ways that I don't even know.
Yeah,
is that
positive?
You know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah.
And so, honestly, I feel like I got some of that from it. So how to keep your practice safe? Well, basically,
hold your breath.
How I got there, I was happy to get it, but it was nuts, dude. I have to show you the footage because literally, like,
I imagine
it was nuts. It was cool, but I had no idea that I could just trigger that like that. It wasn't like I just did. It was probably like 10 minutes at least of like various crazy breathing.
Because exactly. You have to have it long enough to where it even takes effect. Because it's not doing it a couple of times isn't going to do it. It's like you have to do it for.
Yeah. So Tetany, man, you should try it out, brother. It's a wild ride.
Yeah, I mean, that's all of the breath is powerful.
Yeah.
Super powerful. And it's like they have the whole thing called pranayama yoga. I believe is how it's pronounced. Pranayama.
Sounds right.
Which is based pretty much around, a lot of it is based just around the breath and doing different breath work to induce these states of, what they believe to be higher consciousness, stuff like that. But they have different techniques in that have been kind of, they've been perfected throughout time, to the extent to where they know how to get closer to inducing these specific states. But also it's one of those things where they say it's important to have somebody who, a guru in a sense that knows what they're doing to where.
No, definitely.
Because people a lot of times with shit like that can get super confused.
Oh yeah.
At what is happening with their body and what they're experiencing.
Oh yeah.
And they don't know how to navigate it. And it's one of those things where
if she would have seen me, she would have called 911.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
Yeah, and exactly. And I was just gonna say it's one of those things that if you don't really know what you're fucking with, you can confuse yourself pretty easily.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, so then I was kind of trying to learn more about looking at it as the potential healing aspect and about breath work being used to try and get into trip states.
Yeah.
And so I was able basically a lot of the breathing. Basically, I was just confirming kind of what I was thinking with the whole process, with it kind of shows when people hit the peak of breath-induced ASC, the brain signal complexity rises in the same way under classic psychedelics, and so it seems basically confirming what I was kind of thinking and had in mind the whole time. But so it was, it was as wild.
Did you hear that recently at one of the major schools or something, Harvard or fucking something like that, maybe not, could have been Stanford, I don't know. Somebody has they did some studies with LSD, where not just taking it, but they pretty much they pretty much added something to it or whatever to where it neutralizes the hallucinogenic effects.
You get the benefits from it without going crazy.
So you get all that, to where you're not
I saw that on my feed.
Like you said, you get to where it's almost like the people were comparing it to the movie Limitless.
Yeah.
With Bradley Cooper, where it's that pill you can take that kind of gives you, that ability to,
yeah,
you can still operate. You're not tripping fucking balls, but it gives you that ability to see things.
I saw that article, but I didn't read it. So you read it. So it's
you can look it up because again, I don't know what you could just type in recent LSD studies or something, and I'm sure it'll pop up. But yeah, they did some type of experimentation with it, and in that something he added to it or whatever suppresses something else to where when you take it, you're not tripping your ass off, but you're getting the benefits that would
that's
come
a
with
fun
an
interesting because
LSD
I wonder how they measured what the benefits. I'm just curious to know more. Let's see. Yeah, so here this has to be it. Researchers developed a new neuroplasticity promoter, so it deals with the neuroplasticity.
Probably done some type of a baseline test or
yeah,
whatever, and then
yeah, you're right.
Tested them again as while they were on it.
Yeah. So, University of California, Davis researchers developed a new neuroplasticity promoting drug closely related to LSD that harnesses the psychedelic's therapeutic power with reduced hallucinogenic potential. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so highlights talking about schizophrenia. Let's see, designed for drugs. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I almost bet it. Kind of like, was that a few months ago? I was talking about
that
the
was
neuroplasticity.
The atoms.
Yeah.
That was it. Researchers flipped the position of just 2 atoms in LSD's molecular structure. The chemical flip reduced JRT's hallucinogenic potential while maintaining its neurotherapeutic properties, including its ability to spur neural growth and repair damaged neural connections that are often observed in the brain of those with
psychiatric and neurodegenerative diseases. Okay, so
so it's like it can heal the brain too.
Yeah,
to like kind of help, but you're not tripping your fucking ass off.
Yeah.
So it's a way of giving these people that have these brain injuries or brain problems and shit like that, like, or even technically before you get them.
Yeah, or the critical period. Like, remember a few months ago I did that whole thing about critical periods and neuroplasticity periods. So it sounds like it's basically getting the brain to that state of higher plasticity where it lets it basically heal from things. Like, imagine it's addiction is probably one of the things that it deals with trauma. So I'm thinking it's those benefits and not as much cognitive or IQ.
Yeah, look, it says schizophrenia. Look, it says go down. Scroll down a little more.
Yeah,
right
so
here,
no one really wants to give a hallucinogenic molecule like LSD to someone with schizophrenia. So the development of this drug emphasizes that we can use psychedelics like LSD as starting points to make better medicines. I'm telling you, dude, and with AI,
be a lot
if
easier.
If there is a limitless drug, they'll be able to make it.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I just thought it was super interesting that they would,
Yeah, no,
I mean,
that's cool.
That's the thing. It's like
it's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. But yeah, it's funny I have to share that because like otherwise I'd forget. It's just weird things. It's like almost like, wow, should I tell somebody about this now? It was kind of late. It's like, it's just kind of. It's just something you almost have to experience.
Real quick, I want to talk about it. I need to finish the last little bit of it because I was going to wait for Allie to do it because I watched most of it with her. I watched pretty much the whole fucking thing with her, but she was crashing out last night, so she's like, I'm going to go home. 28 days later. I had never really watched 28 days later all the way through.
All right. Getting ready for the
28
so I was
years. Like, you know what? Let me go ahead and watch 28 days. And it's interesting because too. It was
so you
like,
haven't finished it? You said correct.
No,
You're
I have a little bit left.
Gotcha.
I have like a very small portion left, but I've seen a lot
cool,
of it.
Because you don't.
It's
you
a
see the
great
penis
movie.
at the very beginning. So that's
Yes, and that's what we're. As soon as that happened, she was like laying with her back towards me on the bed, and like looking at the TV. And as soon as like you saw his
and
penis
wake up in
the beginning, I just like put my hand over her eyes, and she was like, "Hey, hold up!" I was like, "No." It's like we're not just gonna look at penis on screen.
I know, but that is one of those scenes where he wonders like,
why?
But okay, I kind of
why
I can quickly come up with the reason. I think.
I know.
At birth, being born, he was born into the world. So I wouldn't do it. It's pointless. But
I get it.
Him being like the only one and waking up from a world and it's a new world. He was born.
That is very true.
Why not do it like
I was gonna
Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura too?
Yeah, or they could have
him come out of the rhinoceros.
You can make the point of naked without dong needing to be there.
Have him just take a shit too, because that's a part of life too.
Yeah,
Shit
somebody slaps him on the ass and he takes his first shit.
Yeah. No, it was one of those things like,
don't inhale
this. There's a lot of parts
in
the movie. I will say there's a handful of parts in the movie where I'm just kind of like, I told Allie, I was like, this movie, I was like, this is an entirely different movie in the United States. And she was like, 100%. She was like, what do you mean? And I was like,
guns.
And then I was like, right here in this scene, she's like, let me know if they're coming or whatever. I was like, yeah, I got you. Bow, bow. I was like, we're shooting. She was like, oh yeah, that's right. She was like, they have swords. I'm like,
See, I thought you might go with. You know about the Power Rangers, right?
Yeah,
it's completely different over there.
Well, then too, it's like in the scene where they're in the tunnel and he's like driving over the cars, and then later on, his car's like
hard to do that.
Really nice looking. His car was like super special. It was like just looked amazing. It looked immaculate, garage kept.
Yeah.
All in all, amazing movie so far. And I was just gonna say that I think it's really, really cool insanely cool that the original was shot on like a Canon, some kind of like almost the one they use for like skateboarding videos.
Okay.
Very similar to one of those types of cameras.
All
It's
right.
the one that kind of has the, your lens is here and then the back of it is kind of turned up.
Yeah.
It's almost like a broken L looks like.
Yeah. For like the view screen or whatever.
Yeah,
style.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of bent little thing that's got like a hand Geo on it. But I'm sure they made different rigs for them.
Mhm.
And so the original one was shot on that, which gave it the found footage feel. Like
Yeah,
and look to
parts of it, yeah.
Cloverfield.
But then the new one is shot, I'm pretty sure, as far as I
iPhones.
understand, on all iPhones.
Well, that image is definitely getting around.
Yeah, well, not just
it's
the one
pretty cool, but
image.
it's like a
Yeah.
promotion image almost.
Yeah, not the one. Yeah, the one with all the cameras
Yeah.
in the front. But I was
Like
going to
RK
say
Apple.
they showed other ones that were where they had them in like box type rigs that I thought were
One at a
interesting.
time backwards.
I thought it was interesting where they had them in like these like box type rig things.
Okay,
where,
yeah, I
like,
haven't seen that one.
Yeah, they had the phone like in these small. They had set up where he was like kind of sitting behind it, and he had
Yeah.
it in this like rig or whatever. So I think it's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's
If
Danny
at all-
Boyle directed that. The first one, he didn't do the second 28 weeks later, but him and the original writer Alex Garland, who's gone on to do a lot of other stuff that
Yeah.
you've heard. So
Yep.
him and Danny Boyle were the team that did the original. So it's kind of cool, now to
Getting
know
back
the journey and
together.
them doing that again together. And yeah, it's one of those cool things that really. I mean, it shows you're getting old enough to actually like have gone and experienced the original rated R version
28
as an
years
adult.
later.
And now I'm basically an adult and I can see the 28 years later.
Yeah. It is cool.
But it is cool.
And honestly, it's really neat. Like I think it's cool.
I think
excited
I definitely want to see it in theaters because
I'm excited to go check it out.
And I thought the second one was better than probably most people.
28 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was solid. V267.
It's like the only one that's got like
a serial number.
Maybe it's a message.
There's a serial number
It's
feature.
the code to the universe.
The universal code.
Yeah, hold on down.
Yeah. It's like,
All right,
put this in my
where's,
prison pocket.
Let's get that fire going. But yeah, no, that is cool. I was trying to think. Oh, there's something?
You guys ever seen Dark?
Dude.
I've
been trying to get my buddy Paul.
Jeff's scared
on
to
Okay.
watch Dark.
You heard about
Is it Jeff or Paul?
You heard about the Bogusphere, that UAP thing in Colombia?
Yes. The ball.
Yeah, the silver ball they found?
Metallic. I did. Because
Alright.
only because the name is ridiculous
I'll
as
pull it.
shit.
They're calling it the Bogusphere.
Bogusphere.
Yeah. That and, so on a quick hit, the lady who played Hot Lips in MASH died within last week.
Yep. Yeah, in the last day or two.
Yeah.
I actually
That
did
and
see
President John Tyler's grandson. This is a random news thing. One of the early presidents, his grandson recently died. He's like, his grandson? It's like, yeah, apparently this president had a kid when he was in his 70s, and then his kid had a kid whenever he was in his 70s, and this guy's 90 or something.
I was going to say, this guy's still younger than Joe Biden.
So here we go. Let's see. Mysterious fear in Colombia sparks Well, look, they said UFO. Look at that, Mikey. Somebody.
Team UFO, baby.
Somebody's got some influence. Yeah, some mysterious metal sphere discovered in Buga, Colombia sparks UFO numbers. Let's see.
Oh, that's why it was Buga, Colombia. Yeah, because I heard him say the other day they were like the Bogusphere. I was like, what the fuck is a Bogusphere?
Yeah, no, I'm learning exactly why right now.
Yeah,
too.
They're like, yeah, it was a metal ball.
Yeah, this lady, it's probably. not
She's
much
like,
to say.
your dick is this big.
Be saying you. That's what she's saying. Be
Right.
saying you.
I think it's fascinating. I think that. So what I think is that we are entering. Let me just frame
Okay.
this from a bigger picture.
Okay,
because this is
please.
a small part of a bigger picture.
Yes.
right?
Small part.
So we are entering.
Let it play, Matt.
But I'm just seeing if
Let it play, dude.
this lady did.
We are starting.
We need to hear it.
recognize we don't have
Mm.
the control that we thought
Okay,
we
this-
had
Mm-hmm.
over everything. I mean, I think we kind of humans got into this
Okay, we're not learning anything about the sphere, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, go figure. Find me a picture.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was just scanning ahead. I'm like, wait, why is this even a video here? She's just some old lady.
She has a
talking
nice
about
hat.
it. Let's see.
And she just had her mulch laid. in her
That's
garden
not. You know what?
by somebody else that she underpays.
Okay, you know what? Fox News.
Yeah,
They're desperate for traffic.
Yeah, no, Lily, stop. Stop eating rummage. Stop rummage. What are you doing? I feed you $1,800 food a month. $1,800.
go to images right there next to all.
Images. Yeah, this bad boy.
That looks like a
That's
calendar.
it?
Yeah.
Bro, what? Look
Yeah.
at the fucking writing on it.
Yeah, it's
Click on it. Let
That's
me
what
see.
we use to strain spaghetti.
That's it? That's
Yeah.
the Bogusphere?
Yep. I'm trying
Let me
I want to
click.
pick one of these. I guess let's hope that it's not lying.
I don't know. I just thought it'd be bigger.
Yeah,
For
dude.
real.
Isn't that
Bro,
wild?
what?
I
Bro,
gotta
that
get me one of these.
That looked like what you strain spaghetti out of.
I'm telling you.
Hold on.
So you think that the?
Hang on, these people holding it already? What the fuck? Is
right.
They found
You
it.
get
Fool.
some type
you kidding
of-
me? Yeah.
You're gonna get some
What?
type
I
of
think some
fucking
little
like
kid found it and they took it to the show and tell or
Let
something.
me see.
Yeah, you get some
Show this shit. Click on the
radioactive
video.
poison.
Yeah, there's got to be a video. Let's
What
see.
the Bogusphere? Yeah.
Oh,
man.
I was hoping that one would be a video, but apparently
No,
it
it's
wasn't.
just some lady in a big
And that's
hat.
the top one there.
She's
the
wearing, she's wearing
Bogusphere.
the hat from Scary Movie 3.
I'm gonna name this pug Booga.
Booga is
Pug.
a kind of a cool name.
The Booga Pug.
Booga Pug. Booga Booga Booga.
What the fuck?
In the quiet
Next
town
video.
of Buga, Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Bullshit.
like one of them AI things I made a week ago.
to say, it's like,
Fushigi.
Kintsugi.
You know, this is where I'll get AI to help us.
This is just trying to create more tourism. That's all the Colombians are trying to do.
Dude, if it is.
Colombians are like Colombians. Colombians
Probably.
are like, hey, y'all know somebody?
No,
who's-
I
can
agree.
spin
It's
some
most
aluminum?
likely that. But it's a cool looking ball.
It is a cool looking ball.
It's
but you
far
telling
too
me-
cool looking.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Guys, you made it too badass.
Yeah, dude. Hey, shut the fuck up.
Nobody's
dude.
ever going to believe this. Is
That's
too on
probably
the
why
nose.
it's actually real, is because it looks so badass. They're like, no, seriously, we didn't fake it. Sure, you didn't. It's like the Don't Look Up movie.
It says
Exactly.
UFO on it.
On a completely related note, you know King of the Hill is being rebooted?
Yes.
Fuck yes.
Yes.
What that bothers you, Chris?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
Yes.
Chris doesn't know how he feels about it, but he sounds annoyed
In the
already.
beginning,
well,
it was
it's like
interesting.
I am. I have hope, but I don't know. Is
Easy
Mike
money.
Judge the one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's cool because in the previews for it, like somebody broke down, they dropped like the new intro, and somebody like froze it frame by frame, and they show like at one point because they're always like standing out there drinking beer, right? At one point, like it
Most
shows
definitely.
Bobby's older, of course, and he has like a kid on his shoulders or something, and then all of a sudden it changes, and they're wearing surgical masks, having beers out back. So they're saying it's like, oh shit, are they going to address COVID? Another one at one point, it shows
Yeah,
that
they
like
probably will.
there's it shows like a sign on the telephone pole. It says like Gribble or something. So Dale Gribble, I guess, runs for, I think it
is
was
it
Dale.
politics?
Yeah, he runs for like mayor or something. And then Hank disappears. Hank and them disappear, and some black guy shows up.
So this is a clip that showed a bunch of
because the very beginning. If you look up the beginning of like the intro,
Yeah, I'm
to
very familiar with all the little
King
scenes
of the
and
Hill,
stuff that happens.
and
yeah.
it's just like a bunch of clips of fast forward
okay.
of every day and night of them just sitting out back having
so they
beers in the
released a
alley.
new one for this.
So
this
the
is-
old one was just
Gotcha.
again, the sun would come up, sun would go down, people would drive in, people would drive out, things would change, but they'd be there drinking beer and
Yeah.
stuff to swap in and out. Well, this is doing the same thing, but
Right.
each time it's swapping, it's like something
different
new.
scenes you're
It's seasons
describing.
and stuff,
Yeah.
and so it's like kind of giving you a hint. Okay, looks like Gribble runs for mayor. Hank Hill and them at some point move out, and
okay.
they get a black neighbor that occupies their home.
It's an
Then Hank
intelligent
comes
teaser
back.
utilizing that old
Exactly.
thing from the intro.
So people already, as they dropped the new trailer for it, or the new intro, people have already been like analyzing it and being like, "Oh shit, this is all shit."
Everything
to come.
is going according to
Bill
plan.
is transgender.
But And then I saw something of him, the guy who wrote the show or whatever.
Mike
who plays,
Judge?
who's doing Hank's voice. He's sitting there and he's like, I'm coming back and I'm pissed, damn it. So it was kind of funny. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's a North Texas native, so you got to shout out North Texas.
That's the
Beavis
town,
and Butthead.
too.
Yeah,
so Arlen.
Garland, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, those are the main things. The mainest of things. What else crazy happened? Yeah. People die, people live. Elon's out taking a break.
Speaking of that, I'm wearing his shirt. Rest in peace, Phil Robertson.
Duck Dynasty.
From Duck Dynasty.
Oh, how did pray tell, how did
he's
he?
a strong man of faith.
Alzheimer's.
Oh, okay.
He's a strong man of faith, and I think he's a great example of a human being. Whether you like the show or anything like that or not, I think is everything I've seen and heard and read about the guy. Super stand-up guy and pretty humble for everything he did in his life. Funny fact, which a lot of people know, it's a played-out fact, but some don't. Terry Bradshaw was his backup in college.
I didn't know that.
The quarterback for the Steelers. He was the backup for Phil Robertson in college at Louisiana.
LSU.
Like one of the, it was at
I didn't know.
It was LSU or something like.
No, Bradshaw played at LSU.
But he was the backup there, and I guess he didn't,
the
like he was
Bengals.
the star. Like Robertson was the star.
Yeah.
Like, he was really good.
Dang.
And
I
Bradshaw was
didn't
his
know
backup. But he recently,
don't tell my mom that she hates Bradshaw.
Connie cannot stand Bradshaw.
And just hearing if she hears
She's
his name in the
always-
sentence with another person, she probably doesn't care for them either
It just
anymore.
cuts out and then she's
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
She's like, I don't care for him. It's like, you know what, Mom, I don't either, but not as much as you don't.
Terry Bradshaw, TB. That is an interesting thing. Like just sports hate and sports like dislike.
It's just kind of annoying. Just I think the way he just kind of carries himself and talks. It's like he really didn't have much to say, does he? It's like he's like he doesn't really.
Not the smartest peanut in the turd here.
I agree, Mom.
Not dealing with the valedictorian here.
I want to show y'all something.
Here we go. Here we go.
because
Mikey behind the
this
wheel.
is just funny.
Mikey,
I think it's
take
funny
the wheel,
to,
baby.
I think it's funny to look up funny shit that's going on right now that we can just be like, yo, can we all talk about this or just question it?
So what, the new
or laugh
Kanye
at?
song?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Nope.
Be saying you.
Hey, you guys told me about it.
No.
And I stay up on my stuff.
It's interesting.
What's going on in this right video here?
Um,
Someone's looking like a bondage mask. What is this?
It's so
that
this
Asmongold is going to what is it? Twitch. Down in-
Oh yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay.
With him.
Yeah, he's doing some deal with like I think he said he's going to be doing like 20 hours a week or something on Twitch.
Bro.
I wonder if it's probably like $100 million+ deal.
Yeah, there's no telling.
Yeah, and
No.
that's I've seen him for a little bit. He's literally just him sitting there talking.
Yeah,
isn't
well,
it?
I think he got big off of like Skyrim or Oblivion, like
Some
one
game
of
that
the,
he
well, it
played.
was one of the. What's the series? Is the series
the
Oblivion?
Elder Scrolls.
Or okay,
yeah.
So he was
Oblivion,
doing like
Skyrim. Yeah.
it was like he would do like Elder Scrolls, like
The
streaming
yeah.
and then like tutorials and stuff, and just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
He
just
was
the
initially
personality.
like a
the
gaming
grew a
streamer.
fan base.
Okay, this video, the reason I'm wanting to play this is
So
that
stupid.
I've been seeing this shit because my mom and I were watching the college World Series, or not World Series, but like the regional stuff because DBU's playing. And every commercial break, they would play this. It would be two commercials, a Geico commercial and this commercial. And my mom at one point was like, God, she's like, I don't know why women even like him. She was like, he's got all those bandanas hanging off of him. She's like, and then at one point she was like, I don't know. I mean, any man that's wearing more jewelry than me. I just thought it was funny. But like, and I told her, I'm like,
he's going for Chris Angel.
just listen to the. Like, to me, I'm just like, he was never a rocker. He was an actor.
Yeah, he's
never
been
played.
in that.
He's like
he's a wannabe rock star in that band that he's like played bass in. I think.
So here's the commercial.
So it's so lame. Oh yeah.
You could play that, Mikey.
Yo, I know. Stepping down on power chords.
Wild thing, I think I love you.
Listen.
In the wilderness, fearless and human, Sauvage, the new elixir.
Hey. Hey, I don't blame him for getting paid to do that.
Do you get that elixir at the local apothecary?
No, you buy that at your local CVS.
It was like hair talcum or
No,
what
I'm
do they call it?
gonna
What's
tell you
the
this. When you go up to your CVS to buy some of that deal,
It's like next time I go next time I go to purchase provisions, I'm gonna get some of that.
No.
salve.
You're gonna see that. You're gonna look next to it. You could see something called Jupe. You want to get that stuff
Jupe.
called Jupe because
is
you know
the
what?
joint.
Jupe is the joint. All right.
Next time I go to the local general store, I'm gonna get some of that.
I think it was Albertsons actually.
Yeah, no, it was definitely Albertsons on Abrams Road. Abrams and Mockingbird.
Or Abrams.
Yeah,
and,
I just
it was Mockingbird. Yeah.
I thought that shit was funny. I was like,
Yeah, no,
I'm
I've been
like,
looking for a cologne to try.
I feel like I would pay a woman to take a shit in his bed.
That would be a good thing.
But the problem, the risk is you're paying for something that he was going to pay for himself.
Yeah, I don't think he paid for it. Well, I mean, I guess he did. I guess technically, yeah, you did pay for that.
You know.
But, yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, poo-poo in the bed?
Yeah, old Amber Heard. Old Amber Turd.
OB girl?
Yeah.
What was that?
Taking
Was she
his
talking
shit
about
in
a
his
bee?
bed?
What was it?
Oh, yeah. My dog got stung by a bee. It makes the face.
I don't know how you did this, but we on his side now.
He really did.
I don't know.
He was like,
how you messed this up, girl?
Yeah, he was like,
we on his side.
You really did get me to stand up for Johnny Depp. I was like, you were just. It was like
we've all been the
documentary
victim of a crazy.
He was just so damn unlikable. My dog got stung by a bee.
Oh my gosh. Once you realize that he's the victim of a
So he was like, we wanted to find him innocent. He's just so damned unlikable.
You know, we should probably find a clip from the show to show every week. Because gosh darn it, if this isn't one of the funniest shows ever made. Yeah, I didn't realize that freaking for 2 years, from like 2009 to 11, he was married to Elizabeth Moss. Freaking Handmaid's Tale. Yeah.
Oh,
Fred Armisen. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Hang on. I don't know if this is the one.
And just so you guys know, Handmaid's Tale, the finale came out and it's done. So make sure you catch up and finish that emotional roller coaster of a ride.
What we're about to watch is Fred Armistead as Don Lentile from The Eye Doesn't Lie documentary now. And I said, I don't sound anything. We're talking about reality.
Yeah, I can turn it up, but let me see real quick.
And I said, I'm not going to sign anything without my realtor looking it over. And he says, you're going to sign it, but you're never going to see your wife again. I said, guess what? I'm happily divorced for 11 years. And he says, guess what then? You're never going to see your kids again. I said, I don't have any kids. You know, something's wrong with my ex-wife's uterus. I don't know in detail, but her ovaries kind of recoil back like a vacuum cleaner cord. But to respect the privacy, you know, for this, I'll just tell you about the rest of the story. So, puts a gun on the table.
Put the gun.
And he says,
A little 22.
So I said, all right, well, you're apparently the boss here. And I said, you just pulled a gun on a car. What? You just told me to do it. You know, this cop pulls a gun on me and he says, you know, you gotta sign the statement. I said, buddy, that's the exact wrong way to deal with me. I mean, the idea that I would do something like this is crazy.
Oh my God.
I did not like Don. Right away. When I asked him about the killing, he showed no remorse.
They kept saying to me, don't you have any remorse? I said, no.
He tried to break them with no sleep, with no food. But Don, he just had trail mix.
Not
You'd
the
think
good
he was on
kind.
Trail mix, and then suddenly he'd be eating more trail mix. This wasn't even that fun trail mix with the pretzels and the M&Ms. This was that
Dry.
raisin. I'm ashamed to say, but I pulled my gun on him at one point.
Hang on.
I'm ashamed to say it, but I pulled my gun on him at one point.
Dude,
He was
that
like, so
that
do you
fucking
guys know who did it? He was
Do you
like,
know? Because I'd be very
I would be
interested
very
to know.
interested to know.
Be very
Did he do it?
interested to know.
Did he do it?
Hang on.
Like I would
You
listen
going to
into
another
my,
scene?
to my Johnny Mathis record.
No, where is it? Okay,
I heard
go
a
back.
pop, pop, pop.
Dude,
He drove a Chevy Boca Raton.
hang on.
Oh, heavy breathing pug. She said, yes, let me speak. Let me clear my throat. Yeah. She gonna freestyle? Oh, she almost
Yes.
she almost knocked that beer.
You want to get behind me? You wanna go?
I just
Get thee
love this.
behind
Is
me,
like
Lily.
one of my other favorite parts from this.
Take off.
It might have been right here.
The Johnny Mathis record. No, that's 23 minutes long. That's the whole
I know. Well, I'm gonna
Oh.
have to probably just skip through to find it.
No, we can watch this whole thing.
Yeah, let's
I
do
go
it.
for a laugh.
Commentary.
I can skip through.
I don't-
We don't
No,
have-
no, actually, I
Yeah.
would watch the whole thing if you
Okay.
wanted to.
I don't drop character till they film DVD commentary.
Well, I want to. I might pause at some points because I want to show a specific part. All right. Well, I guess we're watching documentary now.
For this segment, we'll watch
segment,
the
yeah.
episode
Yeah.
of documentary
Mystery
now.
Science Theater.
We might have just found our found our thing. Oh.
The very first one.
I'm
them
Helen
in the
Mirren.
house. With Bill
You're
Heater.
watching
He's like the old
Documentary
lady.
Now, season 50. There is
I've looked at that
perhaps no
the
stronger
documentary. It's
evidence
it's
of the
really
power
fun.
of documentary than
The
the
fucking
film that exonerates
possums.
an innocent man. That
With
was what
cats.
the director of The Eye Doesn't Lie
Helen
set out
Mirren.
to do.
She's hot.
in
That's
Still
1960.
bad.
Foxy. That's how you age.
That is a
That is how you
You
age.
age with grace.
Yep.
Yeah, Helen Mirren's still bad as hell.
Dude, the music in this whole episode is awesome. This like ominous like tune the whole time.
Yeah. It's legit.
So I was driving from
His voice.
to Santa Fe, New Mexico. I go to the Santa Fe Jazz Guitar Festival. On November 29th, I saw a hitchhiker, you know. He looked like he was down on his luck, and I kept company, and I thought, well, you know, I'm going to help this guy out.
I could tell right away he was not my kind of guy.
I was hitchhiking along Route 281 in San Antonio. It was, seemed like a nice thing to do at the time. And,
They give him 3 names.
it's been about 8 o'clock.
Typical like
it's getting
white
dark.
trash criminal. Randy
Anyway,
Wayne
this dude
Weaver.
pulls over and says, "Get in."
Get in.
He gets in, and he sits down. He says, "Hi, my name's Robbie." I introduced myself, and he seemed like a nice enough guy. He's one of those real, you know, real guys. You know what I mean? Those guys who are just really, the real, you know, real guys. You know.
The real guys.
Got in the car, and first thing I noticed, it was very clean. And he had a shirt on, and a shirt you buy on vacation. It said resort. He was wearing a braided belt. And, didn't take me long to notice that this was not my kind of guy. And that man was Don Linton.
You know, they have this saying that bad things happen to good people, and you know, if that's true, that I must be some kind of a saint. You know?
You know. I want that sticker on my car.
Dude, that would be cool.
Old ass picture of Seattle.
You know, that guy sucks.
Fucking sign spinning guy.
It's at night. Like, who's
Right?
out?
Like,
Sign spinner at night.
Fucking, it's like a python.
with that gun.
Yeah, Colt python. Maybe an anaconda.
Sign spinner killed Saturday.
That was 2 years after those movies we watched.
Yeah, that's very true.
So I'm eating a Grand Slam breakfast, which was undercooked. And I was so bad about that. So, I took out a napkin, I borrowed a pen from the waitress, and I said, I'm going to write a note to the manager. And I did. I said, you gotta cook everything through, especially when you order it that way.
Dude, I'm Don Linzeal.
I look over, and all of a sudden, these two policemen walk in, and they come up to my table. And they said, come with us. We go all the way to this interrogation room. And this cop puts this confession in front of me, and it says that I killed the man. And why would I sign something like this, And he says, you're going to sign it. And I said, I'm not going to sign anything without my realtor looking it over. And he says, you're going to sign it, but you're never going to see your wife again. I said, guess what? I'm happily divorced for 11 years. And he says, guess what, then? You're never going to see your kids again.
Guess
I
what?
said, I don't have any kids.
Keep saying, guess what? Like a
Something's
little
wrong
kid.
with my ex-wife's uterus. I don't want to go into it in detail, but her ovaries kind of recoil back.
And then he goes into it in detail.
To respect her privacy.
Respect her privacy. After I've just told
Tell you about the rest of the story.
And two in Texas,
this
wearing the
cop
white
took a
is death
gun on the
row.
table. And he says, pick that gun up. So I said, all right.
All right.
I'm the boss here. And I pick it up, and he said, you just pulled a gun on a cop. I said, what? You just told me to do it. This cop looked at me and said, you just signed the statement. And I said, buddy, that's the exact wrong way to deal with me. I mean, the idea that I would do something like this is crazy.
John Patrick Winslow, a car wash sign spinner at the corner of 31st and Alamo, was working one evening. Now, this young man was very popular due to his special style, where he would spin the sign and ride the sign like a rocket. At about 9:13 that evening, a car approached the young man. The driver proceeded to fire a .357 caliber pistol at Mr. Winslow. At the same time, a creamsicle truck pulled up 100 yards. A policeman, or should I say, police woman, because she was a woman, heard the shots and went after the gunman's car. She fired 6 times, hit nothing but the inflatable car wash blow-up thingy.
Inflatable arm flailing tube
Officer
man.
Barnesby, the woman, managed to see the car. He then proceeded to check on Mr. Winslow, who by that time had died.
50 investigators search for
Will
killer.
Cleveland was a local kid who had a knack for getting in trouble with the law. He picked up Robbie in connection
Robbie
with a robbery.
Wheeling.
A man Robbie's height, wearing a mask, had robbed a convenience store of
Dude.
its scratch-off tickets. And 30 minutes later, Robbie entered the store with the tickets, complaining that there wasn't a winner in the bunch.
These sort of misunderstandings were happening with Robbie. We knew he was a good kid. Everybody liked him.
Every cop in town knew Robbie Wheatland. He was always out raising Cain and causing trouble, cutting class, and shooting off bottle rockets.
Robbie had a way of knowing about other criminal goings-on, so I said, if you have anything about this car wash shooting, now would be the time to use it.
He said, I'll only tell you if you wear
Call
a sign
me Kid Sister.
that says Kid Sister.
This is the
So
best part.
I make
One
a
of the
sign,
best.
And I put it around my neck. And I say, tell me what happened.
Why,
And
who's
he says,
asking?
who's asking? So
Right.
I know what to do. I said, why, Kid Sister. He starts laughing, and I start laughing. I mean, you wouldn't think it was a murder.
He said, my kid sister's ass.
It's Thanksgiving.
They're having as much fun as Thanksgiving.
About that night in San Antonio. And he handed
Kid
me a
sister.
piece of paper that said Don Lentille.
Beaumont.
I just love the hand gestures.
I know. It's like, oh,
sisters
I know
asking.
exactly. I was like, kid sisters. I could hear Caleb doing it, you know.
Jazz and gypsy.
Oh, lots
jazz
of arpeggios, you know.
I don't know if you guys are all interested in jazz guitar, but it's very, very beautiful. It's you know, very beautiful chords and arpeggios.
So I put on my poison tape, swallow this live, and I put it on my favorite track, which is track 1, intro. And he didn't like that, and he turned it off.
I made him pop out the cassette.
The
put it
intro.
back in his case, close the case and put it back in his pocket.
And I said right there, I said, if I ever get a chance to screw this man over, I will do it now. Mess with my music.
Nobody mess with
Especially
my poison.
My poison.
Not cool.
Not cool.
I want some action tonight. He wasn't into that.
I think he thought I didn't get what that meant. I said, I know what that means. You know. And we're driving along.
You know.
We kind of went by this car wash, you know, and I see this guy, he's spinning around one of them signs. And Robbie, the passenger, says, that guy sucks. Why would you shoot that dude? You obviously have a lot of issues.
He asked me to pitch in for gas. And I said, well, I don't have any money. That's why I'm hitchhiking. So he wrote his name and number and address on a piece of paper. Said, and do the right thing. I said, all right.
Anyway, I got to a
That guy
motel in
sucks.
San Antonio where my brother was waiting. I know it was 9 p.m. because I had to shush my brother so he could watch Mama's Family. That story where the son wants to start the dry cleaner.
As a homicide detective,
Homicide.
I consider myself an excellent judge of character. I did not like Don. Right away. When I asked him about the killing, he showed no remorse.
They kept saying to me, don't you have any remorse? I said,
No.
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 A murder suspect will try to break them with
You
no
bet I'm a
sleep,
threat. That's the best part.
But Don, he just had trail mix like in every pocket.
Lining
He
every
was out of
pocket.
trail mix, and then suddenly he'd be eating more trail mix.
And this wasn't even that fun trail mix with the pretzels and the M&Ms. This was that real dry, raisiny trail mix.
I'm ashamed to say, but I pulled my gun on him at one point. Eating that trail mix.
Pull my throws it against the wall.
Even with Robbie's testimony, we had problems building our case. First off, Roberta Barnsby still couldn't remember anything about the car. The
Roberta.
only thing she remembered was shooting the inflatable thingy and dropping the creamsicle.
Maybe Officer Barnsby had creamsicle on her gun. And maybe that means she stopped to have a creamsicle after she heard shots fired. And yes, maybe that makes her a bad police officer. But I mean,
Not because she's a woman.
just look at Don Lentil.
So he said, does anyone have any Q-tips? Because I can't believe what I'm hearing.
He's just so angry thinking about him.
Don wouldn't talk, and it was a total dead end. And then, a month after the shooting, we got lucky.
Now, I was
Here's
closing
Chris's
up the
part.
pawn
Yeah,
shop that night.
Listen to my
a
Johnny Mathis record.
Now, it was a few minutes after 9 p.m. when I heard what sounded like a pop, pop, pop. And I thought, uh-oh, maybe there's some kids outside playing with firecrackers. And then I thought, wait, this isn't a time of year for firecrackers.
They'll love Cedric
So I thought,
Yarborough.
Dude,
maybe
he's
some
all good.
popcorn got popped. But you know, none of my neighbors like popcorn. So I thought,
Maybe it's that new Johnny Mathis record.
So I took the LP and looked at the liner notes, and there was nothing about no pop sound. So I figured, you know,
Dude, this is
better see what's
Chris.
going on.
Oh, I love it.
Explaining something.
I love
No, but
it.
it's
Between the guitar and the toaster, I could see that sign spinner lying on the ground, and then a car right next to him with a gun sticking out. Now, I remember making a mental note of that.
Chevy
'cause I distinctly saw
Boca
the back
Raton.
of that car, a gray Ford
Oh,
Jabroni.
Jabroni. Ford Jabroni.
It said, I heart
Puss.
The pawn shop owner.
said he saw a gray Ford Jabroni speed away after he
But
heard
Don
the
drives
shots.
a Chevy
Now, of
Boca
course, he was
Raton.
mistaken because Don Linteal doesn't drive a gray Ford Jabroni. Don drove a beige Chevy Boca Raton. Fun fact, Robert Cleveland actually did have a Ford Jabroni. But anyway,
It's like he could have been wrong because that wasn't his car.
Why not ask if Don's
The plate
plates rang
says
a bell?
86.
It's perfectly reasonable that one could confuse Don's license plate, exclamation point,
That's a
as
Chrysler.
exclamation point,
Yeah.
with Robbie's
Fifth
license
Avenue.
plate,
Yeah.
I heart puss.
Eyewitness is your best witness because the eyes don't lie. Memory knows what it saw, and if your memory's confused, then we can give it a little nudge.
No.
We said, look, why don't you take a minute and ask yourself, is it possible I saw a Chevy Boca Raton?
Completely different car.
Yeah. I heart jazz or jazz exclamation mark.
Pass cars. Oh boy, that's been
I love those.
The Chrysler Fifth Avenues.
And the group
That
of us
year.
got drunker than a monkey's ass.
We had enough to indict.
That hard swallow.
Yeah.
sound.
That hard swallow.
Yeah.
Or maybe I said what I thought the police wanted to hear. I'm going to let the police sort that out. That's none of my business.
He runs a pawn
I'm
shop.
just glad I could help out.
Oh my gosh.
Jeffrey Ray Dupree was known for his ability to get a conviction. He was especially
Earl
eager to try
Yoder.
this case
I
because
love
he
the way
made
they
death
say
with the
introduce
rival
Earl
prosecutor
Yoder
about who could get the most
is
death
peak
penalty.
comedy.
Who could get the most death?
Dupree was something to see.
Here we go.
In his opening statement, he laid out how Don was driven to kill after a terrible divorce.
Just wait.
Me and my ex-wife were actually very good friends. It's very amicable divorce. I would describe it as immediately amicable.
My father,
Here it
Earl
is.
Yoder, was one of Texas's best defense attorneys in the $200, $300 range.
You thought she was going to say 200 to 300 court, something like district court.
But Don Lentil's right hand is permanently asleep.
It's not completely useless. Just
Bam.
you know, if I try to put a cup in it, there's. I mean, it's not paralyzed or anything. It's just with gripping things. There. There you go.
I knew you would do that.
Don also had two
With
alibis.
gripping things, yeah.
Because there was static during Mama's family, he called down to the motel front
Yeah.
desk
To complain. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I really reamed into that.
Reamed
It's
into her.
unacceptable. You pay for a motel room, you expect the TV to work.
And the motel operator's log shows the call came in at 9:09 p.m.
It's not one of those calls you forget.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's this great
She was in
actress.
Domino, right?
Yeah.
She was the one with the mescaline dealer.
Stand, he lit into her for the whole TV static thing again.
And I said, oh, you're going to come to court, but you know, you don't walk down to room 42 about like 10 minutes.
And I just stood up and screamed,
People like you should die.
And you have to remember, this was a defense witness.
Paul Lentil, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Who was at the motel when he got home at 9 p.m., but he proved to be an unusable witness.
I'm really terrible with dates. I'm not good.
Unless you get the
I can
baseball.
remember faces,
Look.
you know, baseball stats.
Who
What
played-
Cincinnati Red had
Yeah.
the most RBIs?
Like,
Johnny Bench.
no.
That's one I don't know.
No, it's fucking Pete Rose.
Yeah. Probably. I
It
think.
had to be Pete
Had to
Rose.
be,
It was
yeah.
like, that's probably the
About telling
joke
my
because
story in court,
who the
you know,
fuck forgets
because
that?
I knew there was a lot of holes and whatnot, and well, my timeline was basically a circle, you know. So I was getting ready for Don's lawyers to really lay into me, and that was around the time Don started eating his chocolates.
Brings him a box of chocolate, and he would eat each chocolate and kind of comment on what each filling was.
I'd say, oh, this one's going to be cherry, and oh, ooh, it's cherry. Or, you know, this one's going to be coconut.
You're just naming off every single filling to these chocolates, and I thought, I'm going to be fine.
I would have said, cool it with the chocolates.
Of course, Dad was beginning to suffer from dementia by the time the trial goes around. And for some reason, he got it into his head that Don was a Nazi sympathizer. He tried to wrestle him to the ground.
He wrestled him.
People say there should have been a mistrial, but I do think my father did his best to represent me. But some people you just can't defend, no matter how innocent they are.
What the fuck?
That's ridiculous.
That's so bad.
Right.
I think the jury likes me just because I wasn't Don.
The prosecutor played a long track from a jazz guitar album that Don listened to the day of the murder. And Don, God bless him, he closed his eyes and snapped along, just loving
that kind of thing.
He's a great musician.
Yeah, no,
The
he
judge
actually
said,
he could play a few
"Death."
things.
The whole place lit up. I have never seen a standing ovation in the courtroom. I
think we provided an open and shut case. No, there was no physical evidence, but if you take a look at him, you can tell he should be behind bars.
Someone said to me, "Would you do it again?" I said, "I don't know what you're talking about, but I would do it a million times."
This is so
to you, to
to you,
anybody.
to anybody.
They said, "Are you a threat?" I said,
You
"Yeah."
bet I'm a threat.
I'm a threat to everybody. Watch it.
November 12th, 1985. Ronnie Whelan, what? Oh, confession.
Was interviewed one last time.
Oh.
Maybe if he had rocked out the poison. Maybe if he had let a man play his tapes. Who knows? Things could have gone different. But I'm the only one that knows.
You're the only one that knows what?
That I did it.
Everyone knows you did it.
They do.
Yeah, they can tell from the film.
Really?
Will you make it obvious? Or?
Well, we're gonna just cut it together. It'll be pretty clear that you did it.
Well, that's not good. But Don just sucks, you know.
He is pretty annoying.
Yeah. So, there you go.
The end. Hang on. The best part's yet to come.
Did he tell?
I'd be very interested.
What did he say? Don Lentile is on death row in LS Unit, San Antonio, Texas. Robbie Whelan is serving a life sentence for the 1984 murder of what?
Jazz studies professor.
Jazz studies professor.
It's not
Do I
done.
think Robbie did it? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think about that. Maybe. That's a good question.
Did he do it?
Why did he do it? Did he do it? Do you know? You should let me know. That'd be interesting to find out.
That would be interesting to find out. Like, who says that about anything?
He's on fucking death row for something this other guy did. Did he do it? Do you
Just
know?
so damn like he was like, I mean,
Very
look at him
interested to
though.
know.
He sucks.
I'd be very interested to know.
That's good stuff.
Dude, yeah. So that's funny. I really, honestly, the whole reason I wanted to bring that clip up was for
The kid sister part.
Kid sister. He's like, well, he said that depends. He's like, he's got to wear a
Who
sign
wants to
around
know?
your neck saying kid sister. He's like, well, then I asked some questions. Well, it depends who's asking. Well, I knew what to do. So I said, why kid sister's asking? I do that shit to Jeff all the time. I do that at the party. I'm like, who's asking?
Dude, that's so funny, man.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Documentary now on IFC. You should definitely check.
Yeah,
it
I
out.
mean,
It's on
that was
Netflix.
on
It's
yeah.
on Netflix.
Oh, it's on
yeah.
Netflix
It's on
now?
Netflix.
Yeah, I
You
think
can
that
check
was
all of
YouTube
their
right there.
That was YouTube, but all of their episodes
I think
are
Netflix
on,
They're
on
the
Netflix.
Vice one about the where
Oh,
they go
yes.
down there
They're
to investigate the cartel.
Yeah.
He was like, "This is how far.
Jack Black.
This is how far you can put your arms out in a hallway in Mexico."
My favorite one
PlayStation 1.
is
Yeah.
probably the freaking chicken and rice episode.
Oh,
for whatever
gosh,
reason.
dude.
Wait, just about that Michelin star restaurant out. Like you have to.
Yes.
It's absurd. It's
Dude, it
I
is
don't know if I've seen that
so like.
Well, and they're all based.
Capone one's
Are they
funny.
all based off of?
That all the like the
But a
first
lot of
season or
them-
two they were, but then towards the end they just started making ones that are just their own fake
Well, because you
documentary.
talked
of
about it
things.
before, like the Talking Heads or whatever. Is
Yeah,
that?
so that's the
a
first
true one,
season.
yep.
So
yeah.
what's the name of that? Like the actual documentary.
Stop Making Sense is the name of the concert movie that it's making fun
Okay,
of.
so that's the actual documentary.
Yeah,
Stop
or it's
Making
a
Sense.
concert movie, but
Okay,
it's like, yeah.
And then the documentary now was that.
I can't remember the name of what they called it.
I think-
documentary now.
I think everybody, this is legitimate, like, this is something that I think that they really, it'll go down in history, or I think it will be appreciated more as time goes on. I know we need to wrap up.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be appreciated more as time goes on. The episode with Owen Wilson.
Oh, Bad Shit Country?
Yeah,
because it's
or
making
Wild Country.
Yes,
It's making fun of a
Country.
Netflix documentary.
So I know, and that's
Yeah.
what I was going to say. I think that it seriously, you should go watch the original if you have not seen Wild Country
Yeah.
on Netflix. Go watch it, whether you have to watch it by any means necessary.
Yeah.
Sit through the whole entire thing. Watch
Which
the
is a
whole
good
thing.
documentary.
It is.
'Cause I
It is
remember
a
when it came out, I
fascinating-
watched it.
Dude, it's
when
a
it was new,
fascinating
yeah.
documentary. It's a really well done. You won't watch it and be like, oh, this is dog shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's well done.
Yeah.
It's a good documentary. But watch that. And then after you watch that, go watch Documentary Now's parody of that. And it's like, you'll know which one it is.
Bad
It's got-
Shit Country or
Bad Shit Country.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what it is. Yeah. But dude, it's like a 2-part episode
It
because
is.
that whole series was so long. So they did that episode in 2 parts, and it is fucking hilarious if you've seen the original. Because Allie hadn't seen the original, and I started showing her that,
shit.
and she was like, "What? Okay, I don't understand this and that." And I had to pause it. And I'm like, "This really happened?" And she's like, "Wait, what?" And I'm like, "You haven't seen this?"
Hold on, we
And
gotta
she was
watch
like,
that first.
Yeah. So I immediately
Good
clicked on
man,
it.
good
I
man.
didn't watch all of it with her, but like I set her off on that path.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to watch
parts
this.
that were going to be
Yeah.
portrayed
Yeah.
in the documentary.
I was like, you have to watch this whole thing. And so she started watching that. But we watched like
Yeah,
maybe
dude.
15 minutes
Oh,
of the
man.
Documentary Now episode. And she was like, after we watched that 15 minutes and
Yeah.
then went to the Wild Country, she
Yeah, like,
immediately
he's like, oh,
started kind of
damn.
laughing and realizing like, oh shit, this is dude, that was crazy. I think that should be a whole episode we should do. Not Wild Country, but just different cults or sects
Oh,
of
yeah.
like,
Of
because
whatever that
there
was.
was
Yeah,
there's
dude.
all kinds of different ones.
Well,
And
that's
like
down the hall.
JRE.
Yeah, Rogan when he
The
moved
JRE.
down here with us to Texas.
Yeah.
When he was like, "Hey guys, I'm coming to Texas."
Can I crash on the
Yeah.
couch?
Because
here?
we really were pressing.
slept
him.
right
we
here.
pressed him about it for a long time. We were like,
He
"Dude, come
did.
to
He
Texas."
did.
he slept right.
COVID
here.
happened.
offered me
he
a
came
couch.
to Texas, but
Some people
no,
take it
one
a
of the
lot longer
first
than you
places
expect.
they looked at. You knew about that story, right? He tells it a bunch on the podcast.
The Waco?
But no, it was in Austin, but it was like this theater that had like I can't remember what it was called, but it was built by like this guy that like had a cult that was I'm not sure where they were from, but he was like a gay porn star and some
shit.
like
Oh,
yoga instructor type
straight
thing or
up just
something. And then
a fake
but, like
all through
when
and
all
through,
the
yeah.
when all the cult stuff was going on and like the feds and everybody starts like looking into him, cracking down.
Yeah.
They moved down here to Texas and he had his followers build him this like auditorium type
Yeah.
thing where he would perform and shit for him. And like, there might be a documentary or something about that
Dude.
too. But
Yeah,
either
believe
way, he had them build this whole thing. That was like one of the first places that Joe Rogan was going to buy as like that. He was going to make that his like comedy
'Cause he's got a
club or
comedy
whatever.
club, yeah.
And that was, And then we told him don't do that because it used to be a cult. But
Dude,
now he tells the story
no,
a lot.
it's
Which is a really bad idea, Joe.
There's a
frankly-
movie that
frankly,
Williams
Joe.
told me to check out recently. It's a comedy, but it's called Let's Start a Cult. It's from like a year or two ago.
Okay.
It's actually
Yeah,
pretty fun.
I feel like I've
it's-
heard of that.
I have.
It's pretty
I've
funny.
seen- I
Yeah.
haven't watched the movie, but I've
Especially-
seen like the. That's good. No, I'll watch that. But I
Yeah.
do think that would be an interesting
No, it
thing
would
for
be.
us to talk about. It's just like different cults and like
the hell
Oh, yeah.
bop,
and
or
like
what
how
were
they
called?
even what it is, if we can even through looking at different ones maybe figure out exactly.
Oh,
Because
we-
I think what's interesting
we could
is
figure
just
it out.
What were
well,
they
I think
called?
what's interesting is figuring out exactly what it is that like captures a person to make them keep coming back or want to commit to something like that.
For me, I think a lot of it's more.
Scientology-
It's about finding the right kind of person that needs that.
Yeah.
I don't
or
think
that's
it's like
I
that
see.
many
I see.
normal people
I
are
see.
getting convinced, but it's almost like recruiting the right type person to be a soldier or something.
Yeah,
It's like,
makes
okay,
sense.
oh, this guy is.
Personality types.
They need something like this
What
in
was
their
the
life.
name of that? What
You
was
know?
the name of
That
that
makes
one?
sense. That's a good. Yeah.
That was what was the name of that cult? That was the one with the Hale-Bopp comet.
Oh,
were they all like they were? Yeah, they
that's
were.
what I was
Wasn't
going to say.
Heaven's
That's what I was
Gate.
thinking.
They were.
No,
yeah, no, it was Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's
It was
Gate?
the Heaven's
Okay,
Gate
okay.
cult. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was them.
Yeah, no, that'll be
That's what
fun.
I'm saying.
'cause
That
there's
shit's
got to be a
fascinating.
bunch that
Jonestown,
we don't even
all
know about
that,
too.
like-
And there's a lot of them happen to be in the United States, so it's like we
There's
might
a
as well
couple
look
of them happen to
into.
be in Texas.
But we might as well go ahead and wrap up. We'll go
Yeah.
to recommendations of the week. I'll start.
Oh, strong start.
And what I would say is
that milk?
rock out to some Poison, man.
Walk out to some Poison.
I say everybody should rock out to some Poison.
And if
this
somebody
week.
puts on some Poison, don't touch it.
Don't
'cause
don't mess with their Poison, man. If somebody plays Poison, especially the
Don't mess with
intro,
my
track
tapes.
one.
Don't
If
mess
somebody
with my
plays track
tapes.
one intro,
you
you pick up a hitchhiker and they play track one intro of Poison. You let that shit rock, dude. Don't cut that off. And
Dude,
that's half and
not-
half.
Okay,
that I
so
was putting in my coffee. I have a thermos for all the viewers because I've been getting sleepy the past handful of times I've been
so
over here.
he brings his mother's
and
milk.
I was yes, it's actually pug milk. I milked the pug.
Leche de madre.
How'd the
I
coffee
think
work
is what
out?
they call it.
Did it do the trick?
Dude, it did because I was like, I naturally get tired at the end of the day. I do a lot of things. I run around, do a lot of, do
Oh,
a
this
lot
guy
of-
does a lot of things.
I do a lot of things. I'm a a man of many things. So
It's cool.
recommendation.
Next time, bring coffee for the whole team.
I fucking have a whole thermos. I offered.
I didn't want to take what you needed.
Go.
I'm joking,
Like
Mikey.
7
I'm
cups
joking.
of
Go walk around barefoot.
Yeah, take your shoes off.
Take your shoes off. Walk around barefoot.
Be a child again.
Make your feet strong.
Yes.
But not with
Plus,
The
grounding, all
bewilderment
that
and
stuff.
wonder of a child. Yeah.
It increases proprioception. Or is that the right word?
prostateception.
Is it
increases
pro-
your prostate flow?
Is it proprioception? Or
Yeah, that's
what's
beyond
the
me, my
word that I'm
friend.
using, Matthew?
I don't have the answer for that.
Either way, yeah. Go walk around barefoot.
Propagation.
What's your recommendation?
So check out Barry because I love Bill Hader and that
Oh,
made
yeah.
me think of
That's
him.
great.
And I know it was pretty. Like when it came out, I think it had a lot of
What's it-
buzz.
what's
I
it
know it
on?
was on HBO Max,
HBO.
and I feel like I could easily see that being a show a lot of people watched the first season or two, and I think there might have been sometimes when shows take too long to come out the new season, I feel like it really does them a disservice, and people
Yeah,
don't
like
go
drops
like
off or
yeah,
whatever, they lose
but
the buzz.
it's if you haven't seen it, check it out.
I
But if you
haven't
have,
finished
definitely
it.
finish it because for me, it just gets stronger and stronger.
As
and
soon
it's
as I
just
finish
freaking
The Wire,
great.
I'll watch them.
Oh gosh, well, it's like we'll just have to go ahead
Never gonna
and
watch
create
it.
a
Son of a
custom Chris recap video that shows them all the points that allow them to have a conversation in
We're
public.
gonna do like a sit down long form interview one day after I watch all of these.
A long form intervention about Chris following through.
starting series, and
We'll
not
watch
finishing
13 hours of podcasts in a week, but he won't.
Oh, fuck it, yeah, that is true.
Can't finish the
Say,
Wire.
huh?
Got to stay up to
I don't have
on the
time.
current events.
Oh yeah,
time, but,
Timcast gets you. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta
No,
gotta
well,
stay
yeah,
in the know.
well.
But it's about that time of the night and the week.
Nice
We've
hat, by the
enjoyed-
way.
Thank you. You appreciate this hat? Thank you. Yeah, I picked it up at a fan convention because I'm a
Fighting
big,
when he was fighting the xenomorphs in
I'm a
outer
big fan.
space.
Exactly, I'm a big fan.
Fun
of,
fact:
of
The alien-
when
fighting
you're
them.
in outer space, no one can hear you scream.
And fun fact about this, Matthew didn't know. When you see this on the bill of old hats, the military hats,
Yeah.
this stuff right here,
It's called
these are
egg yolk.
They're called scrambled eggs.
It's called eggs
So
hat.
people
egg
call them
hats.
scrambled eggs. Yeah, egg hat.
That's cool. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Random. You saying that about the hat made me egg hat made me think of before we go the podcast Joe Rogan with Bill Murray, and Bill Murray was talking about how he gave Hunter S. Thompson a hat that was made of dog hair.
Okay.
And he said that he
never
loved the
washed
hat,
it.
and he was and he was
So
saying he loved
Bill
the
Murray
hat.
gave it to
Hunter
okay.
S. Thompson because Joe Rogan brought it up, and Hunter S.
Yeah.
and Bill Murray was like, "Yeah, I gave him that."
He
hat.
showed him an old
And he
picture.
was saying
There's
that
a
he was
picture hanging in the
he was
studio.
like, that hat that I gave him, he was like, he loved it because he was like, anytime you would go out and it would rain, it was like the hat would get wet. And he was like, and he would go somewhere and people would be like, what does that smell? It smells like a wet dog. And he would say he loved the hat because it smelled like a wet dog.
Yeah, I think it was the picture that Rogan has hanging
was
in the studio.
It really was a dog hair?
Yeah, it was made from dog hair.
Yeah, he was like, that
It
picture
was
you
really
have
made
hanging
from
in the
dog
hallway,
hair.
he's like, I actually gave him that
Yeah, it's
hat.
like
It was
a-
made out of dog hair.
It'd be tough to get one of those now unless you made it yourself,
Probably.
maybe.
Well, that's like pulled quill ostrich boots.
Yeah.
Are outlawed. You can't buy them
Oh,
now.
yeah, the
so if
bumpy-
you buy
bumpy
the
ostrich.
ones that have the real
Yeah,
big bumps
yeah,
on
yeah.
them, those are pulled quill. So what that means is that they pull the quills while the bird is still alive, while
So
the
they
ostrich
tortured
is
the
still
bird,
alive,
basically?
technically. So it's like what happens
Causes
is
the skin to...
yeah, exactly. Since they're still alive, when they
Puckers.
pull the quill, the skin it'll rush blood to the area. So it's like they do that before they harvest the ostrich, and then they make. So it's like they see it as though it's painful for the bird.
Cruelty or whatever.
So old
Yeah.
school pulled quill ostrich boots are expensive, and if you see them at an estate sale, if you see bumpy boots
And
for
they
a good
fit,
price, even
pick
if
'em
they
up.
don't,
Even if
fit
they don't
'em,
fit, pick
buy
'em
'em.
up.
Because
There you go.
those sons of bitches are illegal now, and you can't get them.
Because
So
a bird suffered for those.
exactly, and you should
Big fucking bird.
you should let some chick wear them for $1,800.
Easily.
Be seeing you.